I have. No. Hang on. I have, because I think it's bigger. I have used your chocolates in clients' gift boxes before.
Oh, very nice.
That's bigger than just eating something,
It
isn't
is.
it?
Well done, Dan. I like that.
I'll bring you.
Carry on.
All
The
good.
thing is, Bev,
Yeah.
I edit everything, so it doesn't matter. And
Oh,
that's
good.
the thing. It's one of those that if
So when I make
I
faux
get the
pas, you'll
vibes.
edit it out.
No.
it's fine.
And
you
when I
can
swear.
see, reach for things and do all
Tim,
that
does my
stuff.
sound all right with this mic?
You're asking without my headphones on. No,
Oh, yeah.
I'm checking the focus. And
Oh, I thought you just had like little things in your ears, isn't it?
That's all right. I tell you what, Tim, you just get yourself sorted.
Anarchy,
Especially
it's
that
great.
one. That's my main one, which I worry about all the time. So it's one of those, Bev. It kind of, when you know all of the ins and outs and you're in control of
Dan gets a bit
everything.
stressed about
I'm OCD.
details.
It's a man.
you?
OCD with ADHD, but we've covered that too many times on this pod. So already we're only into
How
7.
many, how many
We're only
traders
into
have
7.
got ADHD?
Well, it's what
But it's creative
joins them all
brain.
together.
Yeah,
I think
It is
yeah.
creative brain. It is.
it's complete
Yeah.
creative brain.
Well,
I've got my shirt on.
I don't think I am, but a lot of people say, I think you've got a lot of ADHD traits, Bev.
Have you? Do you think that
Yeah.
as well, Bev? Yeah.
Well, I didn't think so until I worked with someone who does have ADHD,
Okay.
and we're very similar.
Right.
And I jump from one thing to another
Yes,
a lot of the time.
I do the same thing. In fact, that's what this podcast has, that theme, hasn't it? So far.
But I like that.
It's an ADHD
Okay.
podcast.
You want to be right into it.
Okay, all
Right,
right, okay.
okay.
Yeah, perfect. I just we're,
Yeah.
The thing is, we like to give people a bit of freedom,
Better.
because we're not wearing headphones and it's just a conversation in a room. It's hard because we've got these mics right in front of our faces. So if we didn't have mics, it'd be perfect. Well, didn't it?
We
we get a
recorded
bit
with Neil
of
from
freedom.
when we Neil from Picnic and Bakery. He
I
recorded.
saw
say
some
that.
of that, and I
It's
just
fantastic,
yeah.
wasn't
Neil messaged me and said, "Oh, I didn't realise it was a video."
He didn't realise he was on video. I was like, well, we'll give it away. It's like 3 cameras around the room. So yeah.
You must have felt
Yeah,
at
just
ease
there
with
for
the
decoration,
cameras.
Yeah, just at ease with the cameras. But it was a fantastic conversation. He started asking me how we met. So all of that's the beginning of the podcast, because I
Oh,
thought,
right. So
well,
we
it's-
best not go through that again.
well, it's kind of good because at least we are adding in things for people who don't know who we
And it's
are.
interesting.
And it's kind of drip feeding who we are throughout all the pods, because we've just done a solo ep and it was more about us.
That was a rant and a half.
But Chris
Maybe
had
30 minutes.
But the thing is,
It's an
Chris
hour
had
and a
a
half.
great story and where he's come from to where he is now. And I think it's important to kind of to connect the dots as well, you know.
Yeah.
And a little bit about this.
Yeah.
Because we did a press thing last night and she was like, right, 3, 2, 1, go. Right. So introduce yourself, what you're about. We were like,
We're like,
didn't
what? We don't
what
know.
it's- Yeah. So, because it was uncomfortable, because this is what we do. This is the conversation, and this is why we wanted to do this, because we just do a soft rolling start. Bev.
Nice.
It's a conversation.
But I have to say,
Yeah, with
because
no
of the
intros.
Spotify thing,
Uh-huh.
well, I just said no intros. Bev Stephenson, North Chocolates.
Hey. The first intro. Yeah.
That's the first
I
intro.
know, but that's-
yeah?
I know
soft
that-
intro.
Yeah, but that
Nice
intro is
intro.
perfect, isn't it? This
Yeah.
is how we do it.
Yeah.
It's the perfect intro.
Sign the wall yet?
I've signed
Oh,
the wall.
yeah.
The wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Signed the wall. Spread
Yeah.
the northern
Tim.
love.
It's all right. Just
Are
sit
we
there.
on
It's fine.
camera?
Yeah.
I think. Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. When did you start?
Well, you started beforehand. I asked
3 minutes ago.
I asked you when did you start, and you said you're recording already, and then Bev signed the wall. So
I might need you to go and
You do it again at the end.
pretend.
I pretend.
right, okay. Did you miss recording of the start of the podcast, Tim? Am I going to have another gripe? Because this is the third time.
You kind of
is
get
good.
the
You know, this is
stuff
great.
down
No
there.
pressure, Tim. Come on.
Well,
I
it's
feel like we should
the
turn
thing
the
is-
camera on your
yeah.
face now.
recorded. You know, it's like people walk in. It's like from them. And
Yeah, but you did though, didn't you?
Yeah. About three minutes ago on here.
3 minutes ago.
Perfect.
But how long? But
Sorry,
how
no,
long?
7 minutes ago. Sorry.
Oh, that's.
7
I think
Yeah,
7
that'd
minutes
be
about
about
right.
right.
Seven's all
7
right.
minutes about right.
Three's a bit. We're on the fence with 3,
I was reading
Bev.
the wrong dial.
Yeah, you're reading the wrong dial. You know what? He's just interrupt the podcast by reading the wrong dial.
God damn them.
Have you got idiot? If there's some wrong. I think we've all got
it
it.
wrong.
No, we've all got a smidge. Well, I'm not, because this is just how I talk. I'm trying to catch up with me words. But I think this is why we're all connecting the dots here. I mean, I've known Tim for that long. It's this, yeah. We're like
Do you know?
telling
right,
them off, but I'm
I'm
not.
just going to stop you in your tracks now.
Oh, we'll do it, because I'll just keep going. Honestly, sorry, Bev.
It's all right.
Can I say something to you?
I need a
Yes, go
talking
on.
stick.
I used to be terrified of you.
Oh,
Me?
Yeah.
really?
Why?
Do you know Bev's background?
No, but I don't
So,
know what it is, but
I
I
was
think
think-
I might recognise it.
I was thinking about this last night, right? And I was thinking, going back to being, in fact, it ties into the conversation this morning. I was going back to being like 25,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like the sort of Jay Rayner of the Northeast.
Oh, yeah.
You
Were
were,
you really?
right?
What,
so,
big and fat?
No, you weren't. Bev was like,
What's Bev's background then?
so Bev was you were a writer,
Were you really?
and
Yeah, did reviews.
did
food
reviews, right?
reviews.
And if you were in a
Yeah.
restaurant world,
Did his restaurant.
best
yes.
review I ever had, but it was the only time I've ever panicked
Right.
because I knew that you were coming. Well, I
Pressure.
didn't know you were coming
No,
actually.
we never
Right.
told you when we were coming.
Did you have Bev pressure?
Oh, absolutely. So back in the day, it was like you felt a bit gutted if Bev didn't come in, you didn't get a review because it felt like you weren't on the radar,
Yeah.
right?
You want to be on the radio.
Because it's the Metro, right? When the Metro was kind of in its
So we
ascendancy.
started doing it at the Craic.
Yes.
So I used to be editor of the Craic magazine, and you could tell I'd been there since I was at uni, and I did the listings, and then I sold advertising, and then basically I ended up editor and owning a third of the magazine
Really?
with two other women, which was really funny because we used to do like books and music, and that was the thrust of it, and clubs and everything. And you'd get all of these men phoning up going, yeah, can I speak to the editor, please? And I'd go, hiya, yeah. No, I want the editor. And they were like, and it was run by all women,
Right.
and they just couldn't believe it. And I was like, would not all want to talk and write about makeup and, tutus and things. And so I was editor there for a long time. And as I was getting older, Dan, it was kind of like I was getting very jaded, didn't want to go clubbing. And I was like, can we have a gardener's column? And they were like, no. I was the editor, but I was like always shot down, you know.
Can we
And
do
then-
a column about where you can have a sneaky nap?
Well, yeah, honestly, yeah. It's kind of like, I was like hitting my 30s. And then,
great,
I decided, well, okay, I couldn't have a gardener's column. So we'll have a food review column. And so I started doing that. And then Metro phoned us up. They just came up to the Northeast, when they were just hitting every town. And they said, oh, we want you to do our food reviews. And I says, well, it's a conflict of interest, really. It's like, but then I got a bit older and sold the mag to the other two ladies who ran it, and went freelance and went back to college to do gardening. Would you believe it? Yeah. But was freelance. So Metro knew that I'd gone, I'd left the Craic, so they phoned up again. Started doing it for them. Then I worked for The Guardian and The Observer. Can you remember? So it was kind of like, it was just brilliant. It was like heady days.
Yeah.
I was at college, and then I was like doing food reviews, and it was like, it was just brilliant, except there was no sat nav. So me and my hubby used to have the biggest fights. Like, I'd think we were going to see him, and I'd get to see him, couldn't find the restaurant, and then looked closer at where I was supposed to be going, and it would say "see houses" or something. It would be typical like that.
I can't even away
Yeah.
from seeing him.
Yeah, but I did. I was quite. I initially was quite gentle with people, and I do think I'm fair. I do think I was fair, but I couldn't take it now. I couldn't take any. You know what I mean? You just think everybody's a critic, and we did it for a long time, and it really does get on me nerves. But I remember, didn't I know you before you had the restaurant though?
Oh, I can't remember.
Really?
Don't know his nickname, do you?
No.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, you don't.
No, do you know what it is we did? I don't know
I
if
can't
we did
remember.
Or we might have, do you know what it is? We might have connected around some stuff that I was doing, like fair trade stuff
I
that I was
think
doing in
it
the
was.
council.
It was.
And we
It
might
was
have talked a
fair
couple of
trade.
times.
And then you'd said you'd opened this restaurant at Gosforth Tennis Club, wasn't
A
it?
squash court.
Squash court. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. It was very, very nice. Yeah.
Top floor, 3 floors
Top
up.
floor, yeah. Yeah.
Like 0 access, narrow staircase,
Yeah.
no lift.
How long
no
did it
anything.
last?
4 years?
4 years?
didn't you?
God, you
4
did
years,
well.
4 years is not bad. 'Cause
Not
most of them
bad
go
at
down
all.
18 months, is that right, Bev, for a restaurant?
You know what? I think it's probably all changed, Dan,
Yeah.
from when I did it. You know, seriously, I mean, I think the restaurant, God, you've got to have a strong stomach now to own a restaurant.
It really is hard because you're the last person to get paid, like you mentioned
Yeah.
as well.
Oh yeah,
And
completely.
that's, I mean, the
Yeah.
stress on
But you
that.
remember though, then-
staff as well
Yeah.
turning
But
up.
even what you did then, there was you were still kind of talking Nokia block era, right? In terms of mobile
Yeah.
phones,
Yeah, if
there was
that.
it was all print media still,
Yes.
right? Social media still wasn't a thing, not for promoting
not
restaurants.
at all.
It would have
Yeah.
probably transformed my business
Yeah.
when I think about it now.
Yeah. Maybe it's yes and no.
Yeah.
You know, if, like I say, if everyone thinks they're a critic and you get, you know,
Yeah.
10 of me coming and say one of them didn't like it, you always get that one and they're the more vocal and people pick up on it, don't they?
But you're right, because it's saturated now, and
Mm-hmm.
like then it really did feel like a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you'd hit a newspaper or you'd hit a magazine and you
Well,
knew you were
because
going to be in it.
it was print.
But that's
Yeah.
the most important thing, is to get your name out there. And I mean, a review must have been the thing that you're after as well. But how hard would it be? Did you get nervous going in and giving a review and you go, oh, it's bad, but I want to like it? Was it any of that kind of thing?
Absolutely. I think my default position, and I think probably most reviewers should be like this, actually. You go in with a very open mind.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's no doubt about it, though. If something's rubbish, it's far easier to write. You can just bang it out within 10 minutes.
Without remorse. You're like, it's so rubbish. I don't feel guilty.
Well, yes. If
Yeah.
if you kind of say, it's all right. You kind of, it was that 3-star. It was 3 out of 5, wasn't it? You know, that was like, oh God,
1
what
out of
can
5,
I
I'm going to go
write?
to town.
Oh, yeah. But it was that whole thing. After doing tons and tons of reviews, I kind of really realised that service is more important to me than food.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
because we have
We've
a
been talking about
massive-
that this morning. Yeah.
Massive gripe
Really?
with service as well. Bev. Even in restaurants, I had a thing last week about service. My little boy wanted a dessert, and he went, "Oh, I want one of these desserts," and showed us the image. I'm like, "Oh, that looks cool. Can we order one of these, please?" Just to let you know, we don't have. There was this little chocolate like dome, like this little egg. We don't have one of those. I'm like, it's a third of the dish that you have on your picture. So why is it on your menu, right? But there was no. We don't have that, but we can add this in and we'll give you extra of that. None of that. She gave us a proper stink eye, right?
Stink
Proper
eye.
stink eye. She gave us a stink eye.
Hacky look.
Yeah,
Hacky look, that's the
hacky
one.
look, that's it. That's what we're shiny raw. Hacky look, yeah. But I felt bad, and that I was actually bringing it up to her. I'm like, and round the table, and my little girl said, "Oh, don't." But I'm like, no. Why should we have to not mention this? This is a massive part. There was no, we're going to reduce the amount it's going to
Doesn't
cost.
happen anymore.
There's
Very
going to be,
rarely.
I'll add this bit in. I got a hacky look, right? And then proper attitude, because I was questioning
Yeah,
the
but
reasons
have you not
why. I'm
noticed
like,
though?
I couldn't believe it. And the way she kind of came over, right, who was serving, not the person, which is the manager. This is the manager, right? And then got served, and she was like, "We just added loads of extra bits in." I'm saying, "Well, why didn't she say that in the first place?" Do you know what I mean? And then this problem wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I just mentioned it, and it was like, because I was mentioning it, she was like, "I don't want this today." Proper.
But have you noticed with social media as well now though? Like it's become two-way critics. Like so you'll see if a restaurant has a bad customer
And then they'll
or
answer
somebody
back.
criticizes the brand or the customer or the business,
Yeah.
they start answering back.
I kind of half agree with that.
I do as well. Well, you're a producer, so I guess
I do, in the sense that if tell you who's the best one to do that, Adam Riley from
Yeah, I've seen a
Riley.
couple of Adams.
Adams is
does he go to town,
just
does he?
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Unapologetic.
he just bang, he just knocks it out the park, doesn't he? He's great, and it would be like, I'm sure somebody just riles them to get an answer back, but I kind of do agree with it, because only in the social media now, because like I say, everyone thinks they're a critic, and everybody is looking for things to pick on.
Yeah.
And I
looking for
seriously
fault.
believe
Yeah.
that they are looking for things to pick on, and it's one of those where you just think, it's like, you know what? If you go in with that kind of attitude, I think, because again, I used to I've worked in bars, the Egypt Cottage, the Strawberry, a million years ago. I used to work in restaurants.
Egypt Cottage.
The Egypt Cottage, aye, Bobs and Gobs. And it's kind of like you can really tell the people who are going to kick off, you know what I mean? Or just have something just to knock at. But I think if it's warranted fair dues, you suck it up. A lot of the time now, I don't think it's warranted.
Yeah.
I think people are just like, oh, they want money off.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? People, restaurateurs and their staff are struggling. I mean, look at after COVID, when people suddenly just turned into just like mentalists and were vile. And you just think, what if
definitely
we become?
flicked a switch in people's head, didn't it?
Yeah.
And they want, it's entitlement.
But it's that. But the thing is, it's because of the pressure cooker of the time that creates that now.
Yeah.
And they need something to take it out on, so that's where it goes.
Yeah.
I do believe that.
Oh, since COVID, everything's changed. The way people drive's changed. Everything.
Well, nobody,
way more aggressive.
What indicating?
Indicate?
Yeah, no indicating.
Nobody
None.
indicates. I'll tell you what, though, I'm a big believer in beeping. You know what my favourite job ever would be?
A big believer in beeping.
Big believer in beeping.
With my
put that on a
big
t-shirt?
horn.
That's going on the wall. That's good.
You know what my other T-shirt was going to be on a food basis? I love broth me. And then the other one was clamming for ramen. We need a local heroes range of T-shirts.
It's happening,
Clamming for
Bev.
ramen.
It's
I'll give you
happening.
that
We're
one.
bringing all
So it
these
started
back,
already. But that's our
Started
first
already.
print that we had commissioned, you see.
It's all these
For a
words.
bit of fun.
You know, when
That's
you
ours.
when you,
Really?
Yeah, that's it, we
Was
commissioned
that Fender?
Carrying Sting on his back.
Sting.
So he's giving Sting a piggyback, you know, the whole concept. And this is from our WhatsApp chain that we just kind of ended up there. But it has a nod to our other things on the North Fish Quay with the langoustine. And
Fabulous.
It's just,
Yeah.
Even one of the boats is called Tudor.
Oh,
The
fantastic.
blue one's called Tudor. 17 going under is that one. That one's called Roxanne. And the request was can we have some Raji seagulls? So, yeah.
And you got them.
Yeah, we got them.
Raji seagulls.
Clamming for
Clamming
ramen.
for ramen, that's a good one, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Like
Yeah.
that. I apologise if I steal it. No.
No, you can. You can stay. You
We'll
can have
we'll
that
give
one.
you a shout. No, kind of the
Yeah.
I want a
collab.
t-shirt.
The collab.
The collab, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what we're all about. Is the collab.
Yeah.
That's everything we do, and this is the whole point in doing this as well, Bev. So
But I think, like, going back to service, I always remember, this place had just got a Michelin star. And I went down, and this is a million years ago, right?
Okay.
And I went down, and literally I went in, and the wife was on the phone, the reception woman, and she literally lifted her eyebrow up and went, like, nodded us to the upstairs. And I was like, what's going on? And then she was like, oh, are you at the birthday party? And I was like, no, I'm not. And there was 3 of us, including me mum-in-law, and who is like the queen, I have to say. She's from Kent, and she is like the queen, and she knows her food, right? So we had this fantastic meal. I would say the service so let them down. Sue smoked, and you could still smoke at the time, but obviously they were in a smoking area. We ended up being put in a corridor. Anyway, can you imagine? A Michelin star, the food was fantastic. I had to slate it, except I went, food is fantastic, talked about the food, but I went, whoever is at front of house is letting the kitchen down. Yeah. I said appallingly. Got an email, not an email, a phone call off the chef the next day. John, I won't say who it is or where it was. And it's all changed now anyway. And he went, and I thought, oh God, he's going to shout at me. Because I did get quite a bit shouted at now and again. And usually from chef's mums, I have to say. You didn't mention his linen napkins.
Chef's mum
honestly, you didn't mention there's linen napkins. And I was going, you cannot prep his food right. Yeah. You've got bigger bits and little bits, so they don't cook at the same time. That's kind of like, But and John phoned me and he went, Bev, I'm so glad you've put that. He says, because I've seen it. He says, I'm gutted. I'm gutted. Yeah. But he said, I've shown the boss. And he says, I've been trying to tell them for ages. And I went, well, the front of house staff was so appalling like, and I don't know why, because obviously they wouldn't have gotten a Michelin star. It just odd, but I was going, you're complacent and rude.
Well, that's it's
and,
complacency is the issue, isn't it?
complacency,
Because I think people forget, especially if you've got newcomers coming into the business, they always think it's just about the food.
No.
And they
You
forget
get-
it's
So
just
not.
one element.
I
It's
would
the difference
rather
between okay and
have
great, isn't it?
Yeah, I would rather have average food and brilliant
Completely.
service than the other
Completely.
way
You
around.
took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I was that you can forgive average food for good
Absolutely.
service. Completely.
You really
Yeah.
are, and how
And you
people
would
deal
go
with
back
it.
as well.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And I think that's number one
Yeah.
on everything.
And I don't know why
Yeah.
restaurateurs haven't figured. Some
Yeah.
have, obviously, but a lot haven't.
Just,
And it's like, and you know what? Train your staff.
Mhm.
Take a bit of time on a morning. Tell them
It's
what you've
so
got on the
hard to
menu.
It's so hard to
Train
find
your
good
staff.
stuff as well. Yeah.
Oh, well, there
it's
is. Bless
big
them,
cultural
that.
issue, though,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like,
It is.
without going too
Yeah.
deep about it,
No.
even
Aye.
the stuff
Yeah.
we do with the nectar competition and all,
Yeah. Oh, it is tough.
trying to hit home that service and
Yeah.
front of house service
Yeah.
Yeah.
is a career.
Yeah.
It's really quite difficult
Well,
in the UK.
That's
But it's,
true.
But it's you
Yeah.
kind of your brand. You're representing the brand.
Yeah.
You're representing the person.
Absolutely.
And going back to
yeah.
There's an
OCD
ethos as well that
and
comes
being on the
with that, so
spectrum.
yeah. Yeah.
That's why it helps
Oh.
because
Yeah.
you've got an
Yeah.
attention to detail.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but you
it's
stand
all about
back
the
and-
angles. And
Yeah.
You mentioned you stood back in the restaurant. Something not right. Something not right.
I did. Yeah, I
Wine
used to
glass
do that
out.
before
Yeah.
service.
That's
You'd
it.
look and
The chair's not
think-
pulled in. That
Yeah.
one's too close to that one. That's what I pick up as well.
You know what I do, but I tell you what, I cannot stand. I cannot stand your tweezer men.
oh,
okay.
good
Yeah.
Well,
God.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it's stunning, beautiful. But
Yeah.
you know what? It's always men. I mean, I'm generalising, but it is. It's that, it's like,
Right.
and I'm like,
Because the theme
get over
Put that on
yourself.
the list of
It-
bands again. The Tweezer Men.
The
That's
Tweezer
quite a
Men,
good
that
idea.
is a good idea.
Alright,
to
yeah.
name, but the thing is, I can't, because I've filmed and I know some people who've done that, but there's a purpose to doing that.
Oh,
so I
and I
accept
totally
it.
get
so
it.
I'm kind of.
But it's not, what I mean is, it's not my kind of food then.
Okay.
It's like, I can't, I don't like something that is
It's the
too.
herbs, it's the micro
It's the
herbs.
micro herbs and
I
it's the
think that-
micro,
yeah,
it's
okay.
the flowers, and
Okay.
I get that.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's not my kind of food. I
Yeah.
hate tasting menus, and I hated them 20 years ago.
Really?
I
I
do
didn't know
not
that.
want to
Okay.
sit and be told what to eat.
So you've just put yourself in a corner now. Then, so what's your type of food?
I really like good food. If I go to a restaurant and think, I could have done that myself, I'm quite
Yeah.
disappointed. I think I'm quite a good cook.
Yeah.
But now I used to be really rubbish. But, well, like everyone, you get better and you get more interested. And when I go out, don't get me wrong, I don't want the bells and whistles, but I want something really either that I could do. No, I couldn't do it myself. It might be fairly familiar, but you just think, oh my God, I would never have done that.
It's a preparation and how it's made. It's maybe it's the charredness on the burger.
Yeah,
It's the steak, how well it's done. It's maybe the triple cooked
can't
chips.
stand steak.
It's something like that. But it's
Yeah.
like if you went for a fish and chips, you want to make sure it's a good one.
Good,
'Cause
yeah.
You're going out once for that fish and chips.
Well,
And
exactly.
it's disappointment in the choice, because if you're going out, you're rolling the dice on that meal right there, and you want it to be what you're expecting.
Exactly,
You know,
yeah.
it doesn't have to blow your socks off, but it has to be of a standard
Yeah.
that you want.
There's been a couple of places that I've gone to, and I've just thought, wow, I didn't expect that.
Okay.
And it was just, and I didn't expect. I can say if you want us
Of
to
course,
say.
go
Yeah,
for
go
it.
on.
Yeah, go on.
Hexham, the Beaumont Hotel in Hexham.
Yeah, I've hit the Beaumont
Just-
Hotel. Never ate there before.
Oh, well,
No,
they
okay.
have changed it a little bit. They've got a massive grill. When I was saying, Dan, I'm not into
You
steak.
don't do
When I
steaks?
used to do food reviews, my hubby Simon would go, "Can I have steak and chips?" And I was going, "No. How do you think I'll get 1,000 words out of steak and chips?" Sometimes I'd have to order the worst sounding
Yeah.
thing on the menu, so you could write about it, because
Yeah.
it sounded bonkers. So it might have a little, some legs to write about.
I think a lot of times you can do a lot on the starters, because the starters tend to be a bit
Starters
more
tend to be
intricate. Do you know what I mean? I think
absolutely,
so.
yeah.
And the mains
Beaumont
tend to be just,
Hotel, have a look. But they
Yeah.
have got this massive, is it a Joffa
Mm.
grill?
Mm-hmm.
And so they've changed the menu. It's still really good, and we went at Christmas, so it was a bit different. Your more standard fare.
Yeah.
But there, just
Yeah.
phenomenal, brilliant.
What's your go-to place in the northeast?
I love my deli.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah.
In Clayton Street.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. I love the staff. I love the food. And I love my deli. I love Dabble Wall. There's a theme here. Dabble Wall's more your crystal glass.
Yes.
Crystal glass. It's a bit, it's different, but equally I think the food's brilliant. I really, really love the Beaumont. I love a cheeky frozen margarita in Los Lobos.
You do one of them,
And
Tim.
in Sandyford.
Frozen margaritas. Alcohol free.
So we're talking off guard then.
We were so boring that
He makes a good non-alcoholic syrups.
Tim's into his
Frozen
non-alcoholic
margarita.
drinks. He's, I think he tried a
Tackled
hard
that one.
pitch or something half an hour ago, didn't he?
Tequila's a hard one to replace.
Yeah.
So what do you use?
Well, I'm revealing my secrets here.
Ah.
I would use tequila essence.
Oh, right.
So,
Oh.
The essence of.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's how it's
Interesting.
done.
Have you heard of is it a lagerita?
I've seen them on
Oh my
social media. I've not had
God.
one.
Well,
Are they good?
they do them. Well, I really like them, but I went to this party and it was down south, and they just thought I was really common as muck by the thought of a lagerita, and I was like, "Well, you're
All right,
missing
okay.
a
I
treat."
was like, right, I didn't hear what you, lagerita.
Lagerita.
Margarita, but
Lager.
lagerita.
Yeah, it's great. I can thoroughly recommend
Are we
it.
gonna?
it's not just lager and lime then.
No, it's well, it's
You took
again.
us back to the 90s there, Tim. with
Yeah.
that.
Hang on, I'm gonna. After this, I'm gonna spin you even further back to the 90s. You know when you used to make your own cocktails down the field when you were kids? Well, kids-ish, teenager on the cusp of BlastAways.
Not in Shiny Road.
Oh, blast
Away. Good God.
I heard that on a podcast. It was
That
Chris,
took you back.
Chris McCall.
Yeah.
The guy who won Strictly.
Right.
Comedian
yeah.
who's blind.
Yes, yeah, Chris, yeah.
Chris McCausland. Sorry, Chris. But he mentioned BlastAways, and I was like, I remember BlastAways, Diamond White and Castaway mixed together because we used to make,
BlastAways.
yeah. But it's our cocktail of the time. That's what we used to.
Do you not remember Top Shelf?
Top
Yeah,
shelf.
never-
What's top shelf?
So you
What's
go
the
out for your
top
18th birthday in South Shields.
You mean
20?
Dirty Mags top shelf?
No. No, we'll get round to that bit later on.
I was going to say,
Bev, that's a
for your
different
18th. Aye.
We can't do
Thinking
this.
of your passage, yeah.
Son, I'm going to take you to the shop on your 18th birthday.
No, that's
I've got a
on the
treat
left.
for you.
That's on the left. Chris is over on the right. He's talking about it. On the right shelf.
I'm going to get you a copy of the Tweezer Men.
Readers' wives.
It sounds like electro band from the 80s, the Tweezer Men, doesn't it? Yeah, the silver suits.
So, Top
Oh,
Shelf,
yeah.
18th birthday,
Yeah.
right?
Well, anything
Porters,
from the Top
South
Shelf.
Shields.
Right.
Not anything from the Top Shelf.
Okay.
Everything from the Top Shelf.
Everything from the top
Oh,
shelf.
right.
It was shocking. So they'd take you on stage and they'd go and do the whole thing
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, my
yeah.
pre the
God.
days of responsible drinking, right? And they'd make it down the whole thing.
Yeah.
And within about 30 seconds, your legs would just give way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause the thing is, you couldn't
That
do
sounds
anything about
great,
it.
that though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's
Those
open
were the
tonight.
days, yeah.
Yeah. So Bev, after this.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we were going back, like talking about like pints of diesel, BlastAways, 2020.
What was that? Thunderbird?
Thunderbird.
And is Thunderbird the one that the monks do?
No, that's that's Buckfast.
Buckfast.
Buckfast, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Buckfast.
I'm a
yeah.
little bit of a fan
So,
of
what,
Buckfast.
so what's your
I've got to be
tipple
honest.
now then, Bev? What you're into? Can we go beers and then cocktails? Let's
I like beer.
Uh-huh.
I do like margaritas, but I like really classic cocktails. I can't stand anything sweet. I can't stand anything creamy.
Yeah.
I just like nice classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bailey's is
Um,
not up your street now.
But what?
Bailey's.
Well, actually, it is. What a big liar I am. I don't like anything sweet or creamy,
from
but I
that.
do love a Bailey's.
Apart
Are
from
nice.
that. All right,
But
okay.
usually
Yeah,
at
but it's not a
Christmas,
cocktail.
'Cause
it's
that's
not
the
a
only-
again.
is
Just
it-
keeping
is a
it
liqueur.
keeping it real.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And then,
alright.
but I do love beer, as in. So, can you remember when was it Popolo and stuff opened?
Oh, I love Popolo.
Real cocktail and all of my men. And I remember going into Popolo and going, do you sell brown ale? And I used to drink brown ale, but I used to love brown ale.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
and they'd be like, the look at you is like, it's
Yeah.
a cocktail
Well,
bar. No.
Brown ale was always the one you go to, but if they didn't, the second was double Maxim.
No, it was either Stones or
Stones, that was my
yes,
first,
I
my
mean
first,
that's it.
my
But
first
I had
beer, my
like
dad
kind of
and my
ale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stole a can of Stones, one of my dad's when he was on holiday once. That was my first beer.
I think no, it wasn't Stones for
It's
me.
quite a tough drink.
What's
Oh, wasn't
the,
it?
I think
It's
it was
strong
it was Scotch for me.
I was
Me,
going to
Q
say
and
Scotch
Was it really?
with
Yeah.
the Tudor man.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
blue and the
Yeah.
Scotch. Yeah, I
Scotch.
used to love
Yeah.
Scotch.
But it's quite a good looking tin, that though. I like the design
Can
on
you
the
still
tin. The
get
blue.
it?
You can.
Oh,
You can get it in some social clubs still.
Aye.
Well,
The
there
head
you
about
go.
that bit.
I'm obviously going to
It's
the
a big
wrong
frothy thing.
places.
Okay.
So after we go to Porter's for our top
Yeah.
shelf,
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
This is a pub crawl. This is a street crawl.
I'm not a
Doing a
huge
lot with it.
drinker though, Dan. I
No.
used to, I love getting drunk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like me, as in, I just like that freedom. I love getting drunk. However, 3-day hangovers now.
As
Oh,
you get
So it does
Same.
kill us.
3
as you
days.
get older, it just
I
adds on.
cannot do it.
Yeah, I kind of the ship sailed, but I
Yeah.
remember the good times though.
I remember the
I
good
remember
times.
them. I've had
yeah.
too many of them, so
Yeah.
I remember them well.
going back to your brown ale point, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it strange though that in this we look down on brown ale in this country during
Oh,
that
and I
period
mean,
of time?
I used to love a
it's
brown
like
ale.
really.
Yeah,
I mean, it was really, really trendy at one
Mm-hmm.
point in the 90s and stuff, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And
Well,
it's like,
I remember
But
going to
yeah.
New York, right?
Yes.
In 2001. It was after 9/11, the year after.
Mhm.
And I remember there was murals
yeah,
in Greenwich Village, full walls, the brown ale bottle,
brown ale,
Tyne
yeah.
Bridge,
absolutely.
and you go into bars around
Crackers.
Greenwich Village, all on draft. Brown ale was everywhere.
Yeah,
Really,
and
really
yet
popular.
over here, it's really kind of like, but I actually, I like the taste, and it's kind of got that nutty. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah,
it, but
yeah,
I still drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
I
enjoy.
do.
Yeah,
It's kind of it's not beer, it's not Guinness, it's in between. It's kind of
It is.
yeah,
I do like it. Plus the bottle, the design, the bottle top, everything about it was really nice. And yeah, I mean, I was drinking that when I was 17, 18. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
It's the same as, which I love, and I know it's it's kind of popular now, but it's massive all over, is Fentimans.
yes.
And I went and interviewed the guy who now, he was the grandson or something.
Was it Robson's, was it? Or was it-
Yeah, is it Robson? Oh, God, I honestly can't remember what his name is, but I went to his beautiful house in Northumberland. It was amazing. And he was telling me about the Alsatian, the Alsatian, and
On the
it's
front
kind
of-
of on the front of
Yeah.
it, and it was his granddad's dog or something. Again, I
right,
could
okay.
be making that up, but I remember, because it always used to intrigue me. Why a kind of upmarket, like Belvoir?
Yeah.
Why a kind of upmarket pop, realistically?
Yeah.
But it's got all the botanicals in, so it's it's more expensive. It's got that really pitch point. It's got an Alsatian on the front, and people if I mention that, people go, "What do you mean?" Because they don't notice it.
I'll bet you anybody listening to this now.
A
right,
look, and it's
We'll
like
look and
the
go,
Alsatian's
Alsatian.
there.
Paying attention to
Yeah.
it, isn't it? But
He
it's
did
just,
tell us its name, but I can't remember now.
I think I might
The
have heard this
Alsatian.
story.
Because
Yes.
I think
It's a name.
Fentimans,
It's got a really brilliant name, the
Yeah.
dog.
I think Fentimans, though, I think the unique thing about that is you shake the bottle to kind of get the sediment up and stuff like that, don't you?
Yeah,
it's
it's
got
like,
that
well,
kind
it's
of,
got-
you
it's
shake it
got
first
that.
before you drink. Because my wife likes a dandelion and burdock, or the
I do as well.
Fentimans, dandelion and burdock.
Yeah,
Such a nice flavour, isn't it?
is.
Such an
Yeah.
unusual thing, though.
that's
you know,
a real
but it's-
northeastern
yeah,
thing,
dandelion
dandelion
and
and burdock,
burdock.
though.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I think
We used
so.
to get it
isn't
from the Pop Man, though.
I
Because
love
we were
it.
talking about the
Man,
Pop
it was
Man.
Bar, BARR, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Used to come around the streets, the Pop Man.
Yeah.
Well, yours is Bar.
Ye God, we do sound
was
100-year-old.
We also
now.
had Mr. Sykes.
We had Alpine.
Alpine.
I remember
Yes.
Alpine.
Alpine was over here, wasn't it?
Because I'm
It was
your neck of the
Sunderland way.
woods, because I'm Hortley Spring area, so
Yeah, yeah.
we had Alpine.
Yeah.
But yeah, dandelion and burdock, pineapple, cream soda. All of these lovely flavours. You couldn't get at the shops. You couldn't get
No.
at the shops. Plus, your mum wouldn't buy it.
No.
So
Yeah.
ice
and
cream.
you were limited.
Yeah, ice cream. You only
rationed.
had Neapolitan ice cream and vanilla. That was it. That's all we get.
Yeah.
You know. So,
God.
there's no chunks of chocolate in like Ben and Jerry's.
No more.
You'd have to make it. You'd have to do it yourself. Remember making strawberry floats?
Yes.
Cream soda floats.
Oh,
at home.
I'll still take the
Cream
kids
soda.
to Mark
Ice
Owens
cream.
for them.
Ice cream
Oh
floats.
yeah,
Oh.
absolutely.
In fact, when we had the open kitchen, we used to do we used to do a Fentimans cola and brown ale ice cream. float.
Gorgeous.
Oh,
Oh,
what am I talking about?
that would have
Pop-
gotten you an
yeah.
extra star, wouldn't
Ah.
it? Yeah.
What's your? Let's go on to soft drinks and pop flavors. What's
don't
your
drink
favorite
pop.
But back in the day, what was your as a kid?
I'm
what
not.
would
You
what
know
would go
what? I
to?
was quite odd. So I know a dandelion burdock. It's like I would have a sip, but I was never a pop girl.
Not fizzy.
I'm never. I like this. I like tap water.
Mhm.
I'm not. I do like sparkly water now and again, but I'm not into. You know, it's like when you can get 300 different waters.
Uh-huh.
What a load of rubbish.
What have we
It's
just been
like-
talking
We've
about
been
today?
talking about waters and
Council
brands and
pop.
waters, council
It's-
pop.
We've been
but
talking
it's-
about council pop
But
this
how many
afternoon.
times have it's been this new thing, and then they've just found out that they're just getting it from the tap in their.
Peckham Spring.
It's like it's odd. It's
Peckham
all
Spring,
smoke and
yeah.
mirrors, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they just package it and they say it's from this, artisan well that we've just found in the middle of Wales.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's from the tap that you've just pumped in.
Although, do you remember Villa Pop?
Yes. Yeah.
That's still here technically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So on Wessington Ways, you're coming along.
yeah.
to
No,
come
I said
here.
way. Yeah.
Like 5 minutes. isn't it?
So they're still there. So
Uh-huh.
they're called Clearly Drinks now, but they are genuinely, that factory is on top of a spring.
Oh no, I'm
That's
not
how Villa
saying
Pop-
all
no, I'm
of
just
them.
saying,
But
isn't that amazing though?
yeah,
You think of
on
Villa
top of
Pop
a
as
spring.
just a.
But you'd never
Yeah,
think
but
about
You
it's-
wouldn't think of it
And
coming
is
from a
that-
spring.
well, there you go.
I know.
So I was
Yeah.
never a pop lass. I do like northeastern tap water. My hubby's from Kent.
Just northeast.
So-
It's
Just
different.
not- it is.
Oh,
It's
it's
totally
massively
different.
Hard water, soft water.
Totally
oh,
different, and
yeah,
it
is.
tastes
Yeah, I know what
different.
you mean.
It
Yeah.
tastes different. And honestly, when we get home and I get my first glass of water, and I'm like, oh, I'm back. Honestly,
You know,
love
when
it,
I
yeah.
travel-
I'm very easily
Drinking water.
pleased.
It is, though.
I didn't drink water. I was 33.
Lots of people don't drink water.
I don't.
Bonkers.
We
But
didn't
you
drink
know-
as kids. It had to have some orange in it or something.
No.
If I travel outside the northeast, even if I go to London, I'm treating it like I'm going to like New Delhi for a week. I don't drink water out the tap.
It just
I
tastes
don't.
different.
It tastes completely different.
Yeah.
And
not
you sort
good.
of gap. You go, oh, it's no.
Yeah, it's like
I'm going to leave that.
a bit,
Yeah.
not good.
I'll regret that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you going tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got any Northern Spring? Requesting new water. Yeah. Bring it in. I shipped it in. I brought it in myself in kegs. You know? Do you want some Northern water?
I totally. So, right.
Yes.
God, I got a bit serious there, didn't I?
You did, I was like, right, okay.
Hold on,
Right,
I do it wrong.
He's done a
So-
shift. Hang on, you've got to put your glasses down. Are you going to hang on? Look,
Right,
right,
Bev.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the transition
The transition.
from what you were doing
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
to what you're now well known for doing, which is North Chocolates.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Where did it come from?
I think so. There was a bit of a catalyst thing going on, really. There was lots of things at the time. So it'll be 13 years this April. Is it 12, 13? God, I can't remember. 2013. 12 years this April. Is that? Anyway,
Yes, yeah.
and at the time, so basically I'd left and I went freelance, but I also went back to college and I studied horticulture and I studied arboriculture. Would you believe it? I'm a trained tree surgeon as well, and a very bad tree surgeon, but nevertheless.
Your husband was a tree
And
surgeon.
he's a tree surgeon because basically I
He
went.
cut my tree down.
Well, I said I think you'll like it. He was working at Richer Sounds at the time, yeah, and he
Richer
was like,
Sounds,
yeah, Richer Sounds.
Yeah.
Anyway, I realised that I got paid a lot of money when I was freelance. But bear in mind I was just doing it part time.
Yeah.
And I realised I earned more money than I ever had when I owned the business, and but it meant I could go back to college. Loved it, thought this was brilliant, and then the recession hit, and all of the freelancers. So I used to do, finished a few years ago in the Guardian. You used to get the guide. It was a little A5
remember,
food,
yeah.
and I used to do all the food reviews for them. What I would do is I would do the food, and then me editor down there would say anything interesting, Bev. Let us know, and we'll cover it. Anyway, so we did, and then I would also get sent up to Cumbria down, and then at Aberdeen, and then I would get sent to other places to cover. And when you're freelance, you never say no, as I think we probably all know.
Yeah.
And it was getting a little bit exhausting. And when then the recession hit, and I remember I'd just done hours, were there for hours with Terry Laybourne. And I'd known Terry for ages. I'd covered all his restaurants, and luckily they were always, great. He knew what he was doing, and I did a interview with just him. It was going to be all about him, and then I got a phone call, and the Metro from me editor at Metro, because I was still working at Metro, and the Guardian on the same day, saying they've closed all the offices down and put me on garden leave. Yeah,
Just out of nowhere.
out of nowhere. Yeah, and I hadn't written up Terry's interview. And then the Guardian phoned up, and basically it was cheaper for them to send their staff writers up to cover Northeast and stuff, or wherever I would get sent to.
Cheaper.
Because they were on the payroll, about
Salaries.
2,000.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, and they would get free
Just travel, that's it.
travel and things like that. It was cheaper than paying a freelance rate. So in the meantime, I'd been doing arboriculture and horticulture, and I met this guy, an Irish guy, and in a very brief way, I started as a consultant for this company who we sold rhododendron from Craigside to supermarkets. Because I'd worked at Craigside. I did all my tree tickets at Craigside. So this guy came over from Ireland. He had a business in Ireland, and effectively rhododendron's a thug. So you cut it down, it goes into bouquets for all the supermarkets. I worked for them for about 5-6 years, and I ended up selling heather, Northumberland heather, into M&S and
did not know any of
Tesco's,
this.
Morrison's, yeah. Because I was down, we used to go to Kent to see size Mam, would pass all the lavender fields. So I was going, why aren't we selling lavender? So all of this was going on. Oh, but I never knew what I was doing. It was kind of like it was really on the fly.
Yeah.
And you'd end up being freelance. You completely bluff. You bluff your way through things.
Yeah,
This
totally.
sounds familiar, doesn't it?
does
You just
completely.
you just bluff it.
You have to
your
I know
way
where I'm
through
going
it.
with
You
this,
gotta
so I'll
figure
just
it out.
learn it on the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it, yeah.
Well, you've got to, because basically if you say, I can't do that, I don't know what I'm doing, they'll give it to somebody who probably doesn't know what they're doing either, but they say, yes, I know
Just bluff
exactly
better
what
than
you
you do.
mean.
You say yes and you figure it out after. That's
You've
what we
got
do with
to.
everything. Yeah.
So I was doing this, but I was always out of my comfort zone. And I would keep on doing writing. But obviously it was a lot fewer and farther between. And I have to say, and the company was called Forest Produce. I have to say, without them, I would never have set up North. I never knew what I was doing, but I learned such a lot. I just learned such a lot from my boss, who was Irish, James Costello, brilliant man. And you were dealing with supermarkets, so they were all, it was another beast, And I always remember, but I was getting a little bit fed up, because I would be sent all over, and then I would get freelance work still writing, and I would do it because I wanted to keep my hand in, and you think, I don't know what it's doing. And then I had a year when, and this is going to be right down and now, so I'm warning you, but literally, my uncle died, my dad died, my mum got breast cancer, I fell over and fell on my dog and broke a leg. Then I got shingles, and literally I thought, I was so stressed. I thought, I need to change my life. I need to change what I'm doing, because I would be going all over. I kind of didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And I think that kind of creeps up on you a little bit. And I just thought, I need to stay home for a little bit. And I covered chocolate. And I also know a lady who I helped with that chocolate company, Roz Coquette Chocolates, based in Rothbury. And she was really, really kind to me. And I just thought, there's a gap in the market here. There's a real gap in the market. And I did look into it. I knew I could do it at home. It's classed as a low risk business. So if you were making steak pies or cream cakes, it's another kettle of fish, you know, because of the shelf life and stuff. So basically, I give Jim a year's notice because he was over in Ireland, I was over in here, and I thought it's seasonal. I'll give him a year's notice. And I started playing and doing stuff with the chocolate. And literally, I did an event in Hexham, sold out. And I did Eat Festival, which was on at the time. And Phoenix, this is when I was still working part-time for him, bit of writing. And Phoenix came and said, we want you to supply us. And I was like, oh my God. So instead of a year, and Jim was great, instead of a year, I worked for him for 9 months and then had to pack it in because I was working all over, coming home on a weekend, making 2 days, solid 15-hour days, making, not knowing what I was doing, really.
I was going to ask you that. Did
Yeah.
that feeling of bluffing stuff go away when you started making chocolate?
No,
or-
I did a few courses. Roz really did help me, but then I did courses. And when you're making chocolate, it's all about the temper. And I don't do bean to bar. Most chocolatiers don't.
Yeah.
You know, and for good reasons, they don't. It's really bonkers. It's the same way why we don't. It's not bonkers. You need a lot of machinery. You need a lot of space. You know. So I don't do bean to bar. I use couverture, and you've got to learn how to temper. And there's different things, and you know there's the granite and the cool slabs, and you do this. Yes, you can do that, and then you touch it to your lip to see if it's the right temperature. Well, a lot of the time, it's again smoke and mirrors, and people don't really allow that because of health and hygiene. You know, they do it at demos, and that's about it. But you do a thing called seeding, and ultimately you do it in the microwave.
Yeah.
And I did that. So if I made 30 bars a day, I was like, get me, pat on the back, 30 bars a day. Honestly, I was so delighted with me big self. And so I did that. But I think, and then suddenly it was more and more and more.
Just naturally progressed.
Yeah.
Did you anticipate that though? Or was it kind of?
No, not at all. And it was Phoenix that changed everything.
Yeah.
Bev, can I ask you, you mentioned a gap in the market.
Yeah.
Chocolate, what was that gap in the market? Because you would never think there was any
Packaging.
gaps. Packaging.
I was going to come to that.
I was just
That's what sets
wondering
you
why,
apart.
because that's what I'm wondering, kind of, chocolate, it's everywhere.
If you look
Everyone's
at
got
one
it,
of
but what
Bev's
is
products
it?
and look at the artwork,
Yeah.
it set you apart from day one, didn't it?
Yeah, for me,
I mean,
it stood out when I've used it in the past and I've seen it. And you've got that choice of what you pick up off the shelf. That's what I would pick up off the shelf.
Because of my background in magazines as well, and you know, I love design, I love art. My degree's art, and I love design. You know, and my degree is history of design, art, and film. Believe it or not. Which basically meant you sat in the Tyneside cinema and went to sleep for 2 afternoons a week, which was great. But so I did all my own design for the thing, and I collect old maps, and I found the True North, which is on a really old maps, the compass, and I thought I've got to use that. But can you remember Nice? You know, the Nice Skev and the nightclub, Nice Productions.
No, I don't.
They used to have clubs, and they used to have bars. What was can you remember, Tim, the bars in Newcastle?
Nice.
Nice. They were called Nice. Well, they were the movers and shakers of my crack time. Okay. And I sold Skev one of my houses. I'd bought a house and he ended up buying it. And we were good friends. And they had Nice. They had a bar next to Central Station. I think that was called Nice, or was it called North?
That rings a bell.
Yes.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Well, basically, I was playing around with things Nice, and I wanted to use the compass, and I'd laughed with Skev saying, but it was when social media, and you think if you put Nice chocolate in, you know what I mean, would you come top of the list? But it was a bit naff, really. Anyway, but then it was when I passed, and I thought, north, it's north. I can use my compass in the O, and it just fell into place. But I have to say, about the Great Exhibition of the North in 2018, I got a look. So I got a lady, Sarah Gibson, who's a brilliant, brilliant artist who I'd worked with at the Craic. I got her to do the angel from the off. So the image of the angel that I use, and that's gone all over the world. Then for the Great Exhibition of the North, I wanted to do icons of the Northeast. So we did Earl Grey, we did Durham Cathedral. I got another lady, Suzanne Homer, to do illustrations for us. And a company in Newcastle, I said, I need a rebrand. And we all think we're kind of designers now, but no, I can design a little bit, but then I've got huge limitations. And they put, this is the scale map. It's on all maps. This is the scale, which I would never have thought of. And they did that. And it just, again, nobody knows what it is, but that's what it is. And
It's nice your personality as well.
it's
You
little
collect
details,
maps and
yeah.
I collect maps, and I've got I've got all these old maps and SO maps and things like that. It was brilliant.
The Alsatian on, it's the same as the Alsatian
Yeah,
on the
but
bottle, isn't
maybe
it? Do you
it's
know what I
not
mean?
as
It's that kind of
bonkers.
thing.
It's not as
but
where you
it's-
don't see it, but it's it had to be me.
Yeah.
And you know what as well? It's very labour intensive, my rapping. I've got a couple of ladies who help us rap. It's very, very labour intensive. And when we look at I could make it a lot simpler, a lot cheaper, but I would look like, and some are better than others, but they're all in kind of, cardboard, die cut things. But actually, this is a gift.
It is a
This
gift.
is a gift.
Yeah.
And I get so many people buying it going, I don't need to wrap it up, but I take it for a dinner party instead of instead of a bottle of wine, or I buy it as a, and that's the difference. But wrapping 500 bows a day.
That's why I used to push back when we first met, or when we started talking post my restaurant days.
Yeah.
I used to get agitated. I used to say to you,
Yeah.
Bev, there's been an approach from like the States. So I used to go, no.
So honestly, I
Remember.
used to feel he used to come and make me feel outrageously guilty because he'd go, Bev, you've got to look into export, and you've got to do this, and you've got to do that, and you should outsource this. And I'd be like, no, that's not what I want to do.
Did I say those things then?
You what? You
Did I say those things then?
And
I don't feel like that person now.
I think there's been a bit of a sea change, but that was your job. That's how you went into the, but I always set it up to be an artisan business.
Yeah.
And this is what I used to say to you.
Yeah.
And I think if I was 20 years younger, and I don't mean that in a, like, if I was 20 years younger, but you've got a lot more. I set this up. I remember at the Craic, I used to think, I would wake up in the middle of the night and think, I don't have the money to pay the wages this week, or I don't have the money to pay the VAT man. We'd always find the money, but it's just like what other people have said, you wouldn't get paid that week. You'd pay the VAT man and your staff would get paid, but I wouldn't get paid.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, so when I set this up, I just thought it's going to be me. Or when I went freelance, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about anybody else.
Nothing too big.
Yeah.
It's going too big,
And I think as well, there's a beauty in small.
There is.
Big is not always better.
No.
I've got a few people who've gone big. They've gone big too soon, and it's hit them massively financially, or some, they're not as flexible. And I know a lot of people have said to me, Bev, I probably earn less money than what I did when there was only the two of us.
I
hear
that's
that a lot
right.
as well.
Yeah, I hear that. I was going to ask you that. You must have heard all of these stories. Because I've heard that as well. Yeah.
Well, they
I
go
don't
big and they go
think
bust
they're
really quickly.
exaggerating.
But I think you're going to lose more sleep, aren't you? Unless
But you
somebody's
do,
sorting that
but
out.
the hard thing is, though, like, especially when I used to do what I used to do, you can see it on the horizon, and you've got such limited amount of control over what that business does.
Supermarkets
And you
can delist you in a
Supermarket's a good
heartbeat.
example. I mean, like, that's why Fenix are a really good fit for you.
They are. They
but the
really are.
amount of people I speak to, I want to get into Tesco. I'm like, do you
I've
really?
seen the thing is, I've bought brands 2 years ago that they're not on the shelf anymore. And it's usually the kind of more niche, like the vegan and kind of gluten-free and all this kind of
vegan's
stuff.
interesting, I think. So, talking about COVID, I remember COVID hit and I thought, well, there's my business gone. you know. And so I started, you know, the Granger Market, Emma Claude, she lives near me. She set up, the French oven.
Yeah, that's right.
And she was doing stuff to get that so the people could sell their veg. And I mean, she just did a phenomenal job. But she was printing all of our stuff out. Now I've got an eco printer. And so I said, I'll do it. And that just went bonkers. Yeah. I mean, millions.
We were doing this at the same time, remember?
Yeah, it was just bonkers. Yeah. But I said, oh, well, I've got all the time in the world. But then suddenly, so people wanted tomato sauce and pasta. Then after about 3 weeks, they got sick of that and wanted chocolate and gin. So, and then the farm shop started open. So I started getting me orders again from the farm shop. Phoenix stayed closed. But my website, I've never known anything like it. Yeah. So I was working like seriously 16-hour days during COVID. All of my mates were on Zoom and, Teams and all of this. I just didn't have time. I looked at what I'd spent during COVID. It either went one way. Loads of people saved money. Loads of people just went bonkers and just spent all their money because they couldn't go out. Yeah. I bought lots of cat food and a miniature watering can. That's all the money I spent in a year during that COVID time.
Oh, we should have that on the list. What's the most bizarre shopping list you've had?
And but it just meant that like I couldn't have anybody in to help us. So I was doing the wrapping, the making, and everything. Yeah. But it did kind of focus, because I was flexible enough, and there was a lot of people who set their business up purely online.
Yeah.
And then after COVID, my website went back to normal. Mm-hmm. But if you'd set it up to be online orders only, and you didn't have a bit of wholesale, and you didn't have your own, you just saw like little businesses wiped out
completely
within weeks. Yeah. And that was frightening. And I was so pleased I kind of had a few, fingers in different pies.
I think that's important though, isn't it, in business?
Oh, it is. And I often feel guilty saying this because lockdown, especially with hospitality, it challenged people to the max in terms
of
like going back to Terry. I remember speaking to Terry during lockdown and the whole curbside pickup and the dine at home stuff. Mm-hmm. Like there was a time when a restaurateur, especially a restaurant business that had a really high profile and good reputation, the idea of doing dine-in kits would have just been like, no way, we're not touching that. Yeah. And I think the second they'd done it, opened up an avenue and they thought, hold on a minute.
Hang on.
Are these our usual customers? Mm-hmm. Are these new customers who aren't coming to the restaurant or wouldn't come to the restaurant?
Yeah. Well, case in point, we did a Coping in the Crisis film with Alex and Hiam delivering his food to local, doing delivery boxes. Cooked to order and then he's delivering to local people up the street. So
I do think it made us all kind of think a little bit differently, didn't it? And but what I was going to say is that again, gluten free. So I had a lot of customers. Oh, if you got gluten free, and I've got Crohn's disease. So and with now to do with gluten sometimes with IBS and all of that thing. And I go, oh, have you got IBS? And they would seriously have no clue. It was because they'd heard about gluten free bread, and it made you bloated, so they didn't want to be bloated. And it was like, but you only get bloated if you're allergic to gluten. But you got that whole, we want gluten-free, is it gluten-free? And I was like, well, most chocolate should be gluten-free. Yeah. So like Kit Kat's not going to be because of the wafer and things like that, but most chocolate should be gluten-free. So I did that. And then, of course, but when you mentioned the vegan there, you know what it is? I launched my oat milk a few years ago, and it was brilliant, would sell out loads. And it was that vegan, again, that thing. But you know why? I think that's gone, a lot of companies, they've either folded or really had to rein it in. It's because it's so expensive. I can't do my oat milk wholesale anymore because it's so expensive to produce.
I think some coffee shops have dropped that kind of oat milk and the options on milk as well, haven't they?
Because you can't afford it.
You just can't carry that as a business.
You can't carry it as a business because you're not, it's still fairly niche compared to other stuff.
It is, because if you're not using that product, then it goes in the bin and that's just a waste of stock, and it's money, isn't it? It's profit at the end of the day.
So I still do oat milk, I still do a vegan range, but it's, I don't
like
do
5%
it half as
of
much.
2% or something. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand that. It's just fascinating to know. Like, I think it says it's options, and it's that because people have found, because now we've got knowledge and nutrition's out there, and we've got, Google, which tells you everything, and you can look up all your symptoms, and I think that's where it comes from as well. But I mean, I'm the same. I kind of try and avoid stuff, or I'll do it minimal. Do you know what I mean? So you have one day a week, or I'll have a meal and I'll just have that treat. Treat it as a treat, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You just reminded me of something. Sorry.
You are.
You reminded me of something. Going back to restaurants, right? So I used to have a customer, right, who used to ring up.
Pick your customers there.
Oh man, well at Links,
Is that
right?
me, Bev? You sound like me, innit?
She'd ring up right on a Friday morning,
Yeah.
and she was like the queen as well. She's like, from Moorcourt in Gosforth.
Oh yeah.
Me and my husband are coming in tonight, and you remember that I've got a dairy intolerance. I can't have any dairy. So, can you make me a soup that has no butter in it? No, and could you make sure that the main cook? And she used to come in, right, and we'd pretty much write a new menu for her.
Oh yeah.
But did you do that for her?
Yeah,
Because normally I'd be like, I'll just go somewhere where I can eat. Do you know what I mean? That's it.
Oh, she was so rude. And she'd come in, and I was, over the years, I was getting increasingly more Basil faulty.
Grumpier. Yeah.
Because I started off with good intentions, and eventually,
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
she used to come in, right, and she'd have this whole meal. At the end, she'd order a creme brulee.
Oh,
She did
well,
it 3
yeah.
times.
Oh, well, I would get. So
Honestly, and I used to think,
absolutely
are you
mental.
trying to drive me
That's
insane?
I would get. So I would do
It's the
like.
definition of hypocrite.
I would get I would do demos, right? And I would get exactly the same. There'd be one lady who used to follow us around, and I don't think she ever bought any of me chocolate, but she used to follow us around and do emojis and things on social media and things. And I would do this demo, and I did 2 different bars, and she was going, "Has this got nuts in?" And I was going, "No, but this one has." And I says, "I've used, you're on here." So I said, "If you've got a nut allergy, I really, really wouldn't advise it." "Oh, I'll just give it a go and hope for the best." And I'd be like, that is not what a nut allergy is about.
Yeah, it only affects me sometimes.
It's like the
It's like Russian
bonkers.
roulette. I'll give it a go.
Aye. I can't eat peanuts, but I'll have a topic.
I'll just
Ooh, topic. I like a
Oh, I
topic,
like
sorry.
topics, yeah. Snickers. Yeah, I like it just a bit. I'm older and grumpier now, so I must admit, and it's great saying no. I don't know if you,
Oh, it is.
I'm, at first when you're hungry and you want your business to get on, and you say yes to things that you make no money on, and they rile you, and you've got so many emails going backwards and forwards. A lot of corporate stuff happens with this, a lot of corporate stuff. Then they order 10 bars, and you think, I have spent.
It sounds
Sounds
familiar.
familiar.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
This is,
And now I'm a lot stricter. I kind of pick the ones that I think sound interesting,
Yeah.
but a lot of the time, and I know I'm in a lucky position, and that might change in a heartbeat, but I would say I say no a lot to things because I know it'll take up all of my time and for very little, or they'll promise you the earth and nothing happens.
I think it's a muscle. Like you want to say no once, you go, oh,
This is interesting.
that
Yeah.
feels empowering.
but
Yeah.
but where the thing
They
is,
want you more then.
Yeah.
I
but,
find, yeah.
I do. I think you're right, but I think once you do that, it is opening a superpower box.
It is totally. Well, no, it's recognising your value
Yeah.
and staying true to that value.
Yeah,
but
but
not
people-
always rushing
Yeah,
to
but
get
people,
everything.
people squeeze you so much, and especially the corporate stuff again, isn't it? And that's what happens all of the time. But you never end up, if you did that for 2 years and you work for corporate, you look back and go, did it really make much of a difference?
Sometimes you
know?
think, I'll do it once because you never know who it's going to hit.
That's it.
Well, that's
you
it.
never
And
know.
you- and
The
you
never know is fine.
which
right?
is great.
Yeah.
But ultimately,
But when they've got you on a line, reeling you in all
now
the time.
I can kind of, you get develop a little bit of a sixth
You do.
sense, don't you?
I mean, I remember when we were doing the Little Heroes boxes during lockdown.
Mhm.
A well-known football club from this area,
Aye.
not the one near us right now.
Okay.
Right, right. We want to do some boxes for all of our directors. And straight away, my head was like, all of your directors. It's probably not that many. And we ended up. It took us weeks and weeks and weeks to develop this bespoke box of goods. And the idea was, I think it was an FA Cup match,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all meant to open them at the same time in different locations. They were in Jersey, they were all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
It was 10 boxes. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
And we've spent all of that
I know.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different branding and everything. All the postcards. We had to redo the postcards,
Right.
brand it up.
Yeah.
And then we looked at the value. We thought it would have been great. I mean, if it had a brand at on the pitch at half time or something like that.
Yeah, it might have been worth it, but maybe it's not. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like 10 people opening the same box at the same time. There's no way that you can get that right. Surely
It's just
not.
crackers.
Like I said,
They
never
They
happened.
think
No,
that
of course it
they
didn't.
genuinely think they're doing you a huge favor.
Mhm.
I remember, so when I first started, because Jim, bless him, from Forest Produce, sent a load of my hampers when I first started to the buyers because they knew I'd left and stuff. And I got a phone call, this is when I first started, from M&S, Morrison's, who had the Co-op. They were all doing local things.
Yeah.
But M&S wanted us to go into Mother's Day hampers, and they said it was a 3,000 bar order. Bear in mind, I think the most I'd ever made at that time was about 63 bars a day. So I would have had to stop. I would have had to work 24-hour days.
Hang on, I'll just duplicate myself. Yeah.
And I was going, and I said, oh, I said, thanks for the, thanks for thinking of us, but it's not something that I'd be interested in. And I literally don't think she'd ever heard anyone say no to her because there was just silence on the phone. I'd emailed and said no, and then she phoned me up and there was silence. They wanted it for like 2 pence,
Yeah.
and I did. And she said, but and I said, I would actually lose money for what you want to pay. And I said, actually, I would have to stop I would stop making for all of my other customers just to supply you.
Yeah.
And she was like, but it's a great opportunity. And I was saying, and again, I think it came out just because I was a bit greener, but I was like, well, for who? And I'd been hacked off with supermarkets because they can really take a line. But I was like, and it really made us glad to think this. I said, I've got no machinery. It's just me, because it was just me at the time, and me poor mum. And I said, this is not what I've set it up for, and this is not, go to someone else who can just pump out 3,000 in a day.
Yeah.
And it was just bizarre. But I was quite proud of myself when I said
good.
no to that.
But the
Yeah.
thing
we
is,
got wrong.
yeah,
Sorry.
but you broke that down though. You went in your head going, hang on, it's going to be not worth my
I would
time.
lost
Yeah,
tons
so
of money, Dan.
what would
But
be
I'll
the
tell you
point?
what, there would have been, there's definitely some people who would have gone, because they've got a different business strategy.
Yeah.
That would have been a great opportunity for someone else, I'm sure.
Well, even for
Ah,
bigger
a couple of-
businesses, we talked earlier. I was talking to Tim about when I was at Tradecraft. I can be public about this, but that was the biggest undoing of the work that we did. So I remember I managed the GeoBar product.
Yeah.
And this push to get volume, because the volume drove the ingredients.
Yes.
The ingredients is what had the impact at Farmgate with producers. So
Yeah.
we were always wanting to get more volume because I wanted to order more from fair trade producers. And we got a list. I'm trying to think who it was now. Was it Morrison's? And we had to reverse engineer the whole product. But what happened was we were selling them, and you could buy them at Tradecraft, a Tradecraft product that was worth a lot of money. So we had this network, this fair trader network, which were all around the country, and in church halls and scout halls and like community hubs. But it was still worth £6 million a year at Tradecraft.
Wow.
It was big money,
Yeah.
and they would buy from Tradecraft directly because that was the deal, right? They were fair traders. They would have come to us, and it would cost them over £2 for a box to then sell on. They could go to Morrison's and buy them for £1.
Can you remember all of that? Yeah. It's like there was, again, that real push. I think me and you talked about it, Chris, probably 10 years ago, when it was like all the supermarkets, they would invite you in because they wanted to support local. And I was like, and Lord, again, market traders and that, and I get the excitement. There was loads. I've got a meeting with Morrison's, and I've been invited, and I'd been invited as well, but I was like, no, I don't want to be in a co-op next to my deli who spies and sauces, really unusual stuff, when you can get them there and then walk 200 yards to the co-op
Yeah.
or like the Morrisons. And I was going, and I knew they tagged on a crappy little shelf at the end of an aisle. They didn't put any like promotion in or anything, and it died a death. It was just that whole zeitgeist that you can get excited about, or
But
you
it's
can
got a
go.
lot to answer for, though, Bev.
Yeah,
That's
it
my
has.
serious bit. So you look at what supermarkets have done, even the sort of perception of value with food,
Yeah.
right? So I have this debate all the time, even at home, about what perceived everyday products, coffee, right?
Yeah.
It's an expensive commodity. It's
Mhm.
hard to produce.
Yeah.
It's hard to harvest. It's hard to process. It's imported. But the supermarkets have done such a good job at turning these chocolates the same,
Exactly
everyday
the same.
item,
Yeah.
to where you've got the public will bully a brand
Aye.
because they're too expensive.
Yeah.
But they don't understand the true cost of the product because there's so many discounts going on and
Yeah.
promotions that are getting
2 for
funded.
1s and
There's all these
it'll-
dynamics happening.
Yeah.
But would it not kind of damage the brand if you go, great, I'm now in Morrison's, then you go on an aisle, 3 months later, now it's got reduced, 4 months later
Well,
after
yeah,
that,
that's
then
what
it's
happened,
gone.
Dan.
does.
That's
Then
what
that kind of
happened.
ruins your niche,
course it does.
unique,
To me, it's like
one-off thing.
then
you
you're
know?
not an artisan.
You're not.
You're not an artisan producer.
Yeah.
You want a different business tack,
Yeah.
and that's perfect for some businesses. But there's a real confusion, I think, or there was at the time. I'm not so sure now. But just talking about chocolate ingredients, chocolate everything went up 400% last year, and it was just horrendous. And you know what? I just thank God for my gorgeous, gorgeous customers, whether that's the delis and the farm shops and Phoenix. But I do think that, the people who I would say my demographic is probably older. They've got a little bit more money. But I just felt ill at the thought of putting my prices up to what I did have to put them up.
Yeah.
Because it was a jump. I felt ill. And then I think I did a little post going, we need to talk about chocolate, like
I
we need
saw
to
that,
talk about
yeah.
Kevin. And it was the amount of lovely comments I got. And I'm very conscious. You know what it is? I think it's $6.95 in Phoenix now. I don't think I would pay £7 for a bar of chocolate for me, but I would as a gift.
Yeah.
And I'm really conscious that it's like not everyone will be able to support me who have supported us. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Because every bar that I flog, I just think, isn't that amazing? Whether they're buying it for themselves or for a gift or whatever. I just think it's brilliant.
It is.
But you've got to be cognizant of like some people just can't afford that now, But there's other people that can.
Yeah.
And sometimes quality is more than quantity.
There's such a pressure. There's such a pressure on that, on sticking to your guns as well. There's such a pressure on that.
Yeah.
Sticking to what you set out
Again,
to do
it's
and
maybe
keeping
because
that
I'm older
price
and
up as well.
grumpier, Dan. It's
Yeah,
like...
but the thing is, the problem is you get worn down. But sometimes people be like, they're under pressure going, oh no, what shall I
We
do?
need
And
to
if you
take
don't
this
have
and we need to do
advice,
that.
and if
Yeah.
you need to do it and then you do it, what's that implication effect on your brand as well?
Yeah.
The quality of what people see you as. And I
Yeah.
think that's an important thing. That
Yeah.
should be number one.
Yeah.
What do people see you as, and your ethos about what you're doing as well?
Yeah.
Can you tell me just out of not having the information, why did you have to put it up? Has chocolate gone up in price?
So chocolate and grit. So there was a bit of a perfect storm, literally and metaphorically here.
How long ago was this then,
So
Bev?
not last year, the year before.
Okay.
So all along the Ivory Coast, Ghana, Colombia, hit massively with hurricanes.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 50%. A lot of the plantations, big and small, were just decimated.
Really? Wow.
It was either hit with flooding, which then had the knock-on effect. It damaged, or a lot of the trees that were left standing have got disease.
Right.
So what's happened is, last year the yield was down about 50%. So the cost of my ingredients went up 400%. It went from 2,200 a ton to 12,000. Yeah.
And the thing is, I think this is right. If you're a big business, you contract price,
Yes.
right? So if you're like a big manufacturer of chocolate bars, right, in a
you can-
factory,
You can
you
dictate.
set your price on a contract, but
Well,
if you're
bearing-
spot pricing,
Spot pricing,
just
but
goes up,
bear
doesn't
in
it?
mind, Chris, that say the Easter eggs that are out now were probably made 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it'll filter down. You'll see it now. I think you'll see it a lot this year in Easter eggs. That suddenly you'll not be getting your 50p Easter eggs, pile it up and pile them high. You just can't do it. But the problem is with chocolate and again coffee, because all of the same areas got
equatorial,
hit.
it's all the
Yeah.
same. It's,
The yield is down because there's no trees. There's no. They're not going to grow back in a year.
That's
So
it.
people are
Yeah.
going to have to get used to these prices.
Yeah.
And it really hacks me off when it's like, and so people have a look now. It'll say milk or dark. It won't say chocolate because it's basically chocolate compound.
Okay.
So they're using, so it's not chocolate, it's compound, which is totally different and it's really cheap. And it's
What is
made of a
compound?
lot of like palm oil and veggie oil and more sugar.
just a composite product.
Yeah, so it's
I was trying to
basically
go
like a
palm, no
pretendy
palm oil.
chocolate.
Always,
Pretendy chocolate.
Yeah.
So that'll if you
Pretendy
notice,
chocolate.
pretendy
How can you make
It's like,
pretendy
it's like
chocolate?
the Chinese
just-
honey thing. There's
Right.
a big issue of it's just like
It's
glucose.
just made, it's just sugar.
syrups
Right.
and
Yeah.
It's
and
just sugar.
flavouring as well.
Because of Brexit, we
The-
can now have chocolate that isn't chocolate.
Yeah.
Whereas
Okay.
before the EU would say you can't call it chocolate.
Right.
You have to call it something else. 'cause
So it's
got sugar.
recategorising things now.
If
Okay.
I'm right, it'll just say milk or dark. And obviously it's the same thing that we're used to seeing, but they're not allowed to put chocolate after it. But our perception is, oh, that's a milk chocolate
Yeah.
bar. But it's not. It's
And going back to
compound.
the supermarkets, hardwiring people. If the price point's okay,
Then it's
no
fine.
one's going to dig any deeper.
I
One's
get a
going to
lot of
look. I'm going to
people-
check my chocolate now when I'm buying
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you'll
yeah.
notice the taste.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I just have
think a
dark,
load
so
of
I'm like,
people-
I only have like a bar once a week or something like
yeah,
that. You know
but
what I mean? So
just look
I
in
will
the back.
do, yeah, definitely.
But it's so I think this is going to be the new normal, and I think a load of chocolatiers are going to really suffer.
think
Smaller
so.
ones.
Yeah.
But what's
Yeah.
the pressure like on having it increase that price, Bev? That must be phenomenal. That's a kind of do or don't at the moment, isn't it?
You know what? I think if I had a unit and staff, or like a shop,
Mhm.
I'd be very, very worried as a chocolatier.
Yeah.
I really do, and I think I still work from home, Dan. There's just me. Don't have kids, which is a lot cheaper. And ultimately, it just means that I can cut my cloth, and I know that I know I've got to earn a certain amount, and I can do that. And I think I have got a good brand, and I've built that brand up. And it's 12 years in the making. I'm in a lucky position. I think if you were, a bit smaller or bigger, or kind of in the middle big, I'd be really, really worried.
Okay. It's always tougher in the middle,
It
isn't
is.
it?
Well, it is.
Yeah. It's
It
always
is.
But
tougher
that's
in the
not
middle.
just in this category. It's
No, it's in everything.
in everything. at the minute.
Bev,
If you're in
so
the
yeah,
middle,
yeah.
it's going to be very hard to
Yeah.
justify what you do
Yeah.
and
So-
cover the costs.
So all of this is not because you loved chocolate as a kid and you wanted to be. You know what I mean? Is there something in that as well? Is there a passion and a
Good
love
question.
of
Do you
chocolate
love
as well?
chocolate?
Yeah. Do you
Not
love
anymore.
chocolate, Bev? Yeah.
You know what? Up until about 3 years ago, my mother would still buy us an Easter egg, and I'd go, "Stop buying me cheap chocolate." So you've got to taste the chocolate
I've got
every
63
time.
bars in the kitchen, Mum.
Yeah, but I do. I've got drawers full of bloody chocolate.
Just finding it everywhere, like Willy Wonka's house. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you've been in my house, Chris. It's like you've got because you've got to make it in
Yeah.
advance. Dan.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you've got drawers that are wrapped and not wrapped and retail.
Can we come up and
events.
visit? I want to see. I want to see this house. It sounds like a factory, mini
but,
factory inside. You know.
You've got to taste it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to taste it as you're making, like with everything. To make sure it's the same consistency and things like that on the whole. And literally, it's like no,
I'm fed
I
up
just
with
want to
this.
eat crisps and nuts.
I get it. It's like a chef. I was
Push it
thinking
towards savoury.
we keep saying
Yeah.
this. A chef cooks like high-end meals all day.
And then
he
wants
just
to
wants a
eat.
pizza or a
Beans
tin of
on
beans.
Yeah.
Cheese and ham toasty or something. That's what we were talking
Yeah.
about.
If I
earlier.
made-
So is there a chocolate at all, apart from your own, that you're like, actually, if
I
you're
really
gonna
like
buy,
them.
If you're going to buy me something,
Yeah.
that's
Is there anything
That's
special
a
for
good
Bev?
question, Tim.
Bev's special chocolate.
God.
since the 12 years, 13 years. we've been going.
You said you liked the topic.
Well, I do like nutty bars. I really like nutty. I like texture.
Yeah.
So, and I like
like the
things that
texture.
stick in your
Little
teeth.
crunchier and then
yeah.
little kinda,
So I
yeah.
like. If I was gonna pick a bar, what the hell? It's not a lion bar.
Topic? A picnic.
No, picnic.
Oh, I love a picnic, actually.
It's a picnic.
I do.
Tell you
well
what.
done.
You know why? My boy was like, "Oh, I want a picnic." I says, "A lion bar is just a picnic with raisins in."
It is.
No, it's not. It's not the same. The lion bar's got wafer
You
in
don't
it.
think so?
I think it is.
Wafer
Hang on.
and picnic
Look.
never had the
I've not had a
wafer.
lion bar for ages.
Lion bar was just
Can you
wafer.
get them anymore?
It didn't have raisins.
Lion
Picnic
bars?
was just
Aye.
it was a newer version. Yeah, you can get them because in vending machines. Because I bought them for my kid, and he
can in
didn't
vending
he didn't want a lion bar, and I'm like, I want to pick. I'm like, actually lion bar's better because it's chewier. I think it's chewier. And I think picnic's got raisins in. Who wants raisins in a chocolate one tomorrow?
Oh, I
used
like
to
raisins
like
in chocolate bar.
Apart from a fruit and nut, I'm partial, but that's the thing you're going for. I go for the chewy every day. Lion bar, you got a
No, I'm
This
a
is
picnic
devastating.
lady.
picnic.
Lion bars, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a lion bar.
Ever?
That I wasn't disappointed.
Oh,
Oh,
Disappointed by.
I'm with you, Tim. I'm not in the lion bars.
Right, there's a lion bar that's been on the shelf for too long and just snaps straight away. It's too brittle. And then there's a lion bar that's chewy. That's a perfect lion bar, Bev.
Yes, we'll like our chewy lion bars.
Do you like them?
because I
What do you
remember
think?
having lion bars that snaps.
No.
You feel really
You know,
disappointed.
yeah, you know
'Cause
what?
you know it's stale.
These
It's been
are
there
the-
for like 100 years.
These are the things I remember. You know,
Yeah.
it's that. It's when a boost is too dry and it just falls out.
I like the boost as well.
Yeah, biscuit boost.
Biscuit
or
boost.
anything
Yeah,
like
so Tim, I honestly don't know, but I would go for a picnic
that. Okay,
yeah.
that's all right.
on me.
So what would be your top 3 chocolate
Oh,
bars?
you're moving on to the menu. Oh, how's the menu?
Right.
What's
because
there?
we're here.
Bev.
Just because we're on that subject and we're on
Oh,
chocolate bars and
right.
you mentioned picnic, what's your top 3 then?
top 3 chocolate bars?
Now, as a kid, let's put them all on a nice table and have a look.
Little Bev now, Bev.
Caramac.
Caramac.
I like the Caramac. I
It's
did. I like the
too-
Caramac.
again,
Unique
too
taste,
But
isn't it?
sweet,
Sticks
but
with you,
it's
doesn't it?
like-
It is, but that's why it's
that
thin, I
little-
think. It's like
yes,
a Milky
that
Bar. It's
little
why it's
thing.
that
Oh, I
thin.
never liked a Milky Bar.
No.
Unavailable
Oh,
now.
I still, I feel
Caramac.
offended by Milky Bars when they're in like.
Caramac's gone
Caramac's
on
gone.
the way. But Cadbury's brought out something that was sort of replaced it because
Oh,
it was
no.
What was
Caramac
it?
was Nestle.
Yes.
Nestle did for it.
Right.
About 3 years ago, everyone started hoarding boxes of
Caramacs.
Kids, Caramac.
Git.
But I think
You're meeting a guy on the corner. You got any
Oh,
Caramacs?
Caramacs, man.
You got any Caramacs?
Not
Yeah.
Caramacs.
Just follow me.
So,
Bev,
okay, so I
Caramac,
did
picnic.
like the odd, and definitely a picnic. I would say that was straddling the young and the old Bev.
Okay.
And
right,
I
okay.
think, the hazelnut purple ones in Quality Street.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Yes.
A
Yeah.
chocolate inside a branded. We've never done
How do you
that
feel
before.
about that? Because you love nuts.
It's the hazelnut.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Little gift.
Yes, and
Yes.
it's because it's quite big. There's not a lot.
Yes.
Is that not a Brazil nut? The purple one.
No, it's a hazelnut.
Not a hazelnut.
Is it a hazel? I thought it was a Brazil. I like a chocolate Brazil. Though. It looks like a Brazil because of the shape. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
do like a chocolate
That's
Brazil.
just a fox, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
like a
just
chocolate
fox,
Brazil as well.
I like a chocolate Brazil as well.
yeah.
Yeah, just Brazils.
Oh.
But
Yes.
I do a coffee,
Chocolate
a
Brazil.
Brazilian cappuccino, and I do it intermittently, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to start making it again, and that's a milk coffee with toasted Brazils.
Oh,
very
hey,
nice.
hey.
Most
When's that
Brazils,
coming out?
The chocolate on them it's like
It's not great.
it's like
It's not
chocolate.
because the
Compound
Brazil's
peanuts
too.
and raisins.
The
Compound
thing is,
chocolate.
the thing is,
Yes.
the Brazils,
Chocolate.
the Brazils are. The Brazil's a heavy nut, do you know what I mean? And to get a lot of chocolate on it, it's the chocolate nut ratio, isn't it? That's what we're all about.
Hold on, just
here.
roll back a
Chocolate nut
second.
ratio.
Have you just said the chocolate nut ratio?
I have, and
Well,
it's
that's
a
very
thing.
important, isn't it?
Thanks, Bev.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Chocolate nut
It's
ratio.
like my fish cake thing, a single point of absorption.
Well, that's another single point
We've got all these
absorption.
technical
Yeah.
phrases that are coming out the
No, but these are also band names as well, isn't it?
single point of absorption. Love that.
point of
Like,
absorption.
what kind of band's that?
SPA for short.
What kind of
like
band's that, do you think?
KLF.
Yeah.
Oh, just trying to think
Ah.
of what style of music they do. I think the Tweezer men do like bluesgrass and that.
I thought that's right.
I imagine the Tweezer
yeah.
men, it'd be like Daft Punk or
Daft
something.
Punk.
didn't
No, but the
they?
Tweezer Men's the OG Daft Punk. So the 80s, you know, they're trying to figure it out and they just turn up in silver boiler suits.
Well, I was thinking more like
I
you see
think
the Big
that.
Lebowski when they're dressed as nihilists and he's running Flea off out of Red Hot Chili Peppers wearing
that kind of
suit.
Yeah, I
and
know.
he's running around
yeah.
the giant can of
I know
pits,
that- I know
scissors.
That's a
Craft.
Yes.
work, yeah. Legal bit, yeah.
You got the pronunciation spot on as well there.
Can you remember, was it the Chemical Brothers were on Glastonbury a few years ago, right? And my side, talking about older and grumpier though, my side had just getting these glasses from Pound Stretcher. And basically they had little lights on the side, right? That you could put on to read. And then we were sitting watching Glastonbury, like on the telly, obviously, I'm not going to go down. And I think it was the Chemical Brothers or like LC Sound sound system.
LCD sound system.
I was going, Si, they've got your Pound Stretcher glasses on. And it was so they could see
Why
the
are they not
things. Did you
doing
see
that?
them?
Little indicators and
little torches.
Honestly,
You got little
It's gonna
torches
turn
on the
left.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant,
I get that, yeah.
Vision,
I remember
vision
that.
goes down after a few years and everyone's getting on a bit.
and buying everything from Pound Stretcher, yeah.
But then it moves on to one of those, the head strap lights. I've got one of those.
Yes.
Do you doing work?
You were
in the
wearing one
garage?
on Christmas
Yeah,
Day.
right.
You sent me a picture.
I know, you know why? Because
How
I
did
was.
you have it on for Christmas Day?
My little boy had a Switch, and we ordered this kind of custom made. Like it was like a wrap, but you had to take the innards out. I thought it was going to be take that off, 2 screws slotted in. I had to take every single tiny little screw apart, and they brought new screws in. We're talking about it's probably like 50 little screws, and they were so tiny, it came with its own screwdriver. I had to take all the innards out and everything just to put this unique back on. And I'd send him a picture. I had glasses on,
So you
and I
had
had
your
a little
down
head torch as well.
Yeah,
I was
down
like,
the
right,
head torch.
if you're gonna do it, Bev, you got to get in there. You got to
I'm
do it
with you.
properly. I was like,
Yeah.
I look like a jeweler. I just missed that little single monocle thing. That's what I needed.
Take a couple of links out of that for us.
Can you do that? Yeah, just drop it off Tuesday. I've got someone on at the minute.
I'll do it as mates
Hey,
rates.
Christmas Day, 3 hours, Bev. That's
3 hours?
commitment.
Took you 3 hours.
And you think Lego's long? That took the biscuit. But I'm
You
committed.
did it.
Oh, every 5 minutes.
Well
There's a
done.
finisher. There's a finisher.
Yeah.
There's a finisher. I'm like, bloody hell, leave us alone, mate. Give us a minute, will you? He's driving us up the wall. I'm like, I'm on it. Don't worry. I had to go up in the office, shut the door. I'm like, leave us alone. Do you know what I mean? Daddy's
But
at
is
work.
this where your OCD
I have
really
to finish it.
kicked into a gear?
I can't stop. I put it away, and
Fabulous.
that's all I thought about. I
Now,
have
you
to go
see,
and
I
finish
don't
it.
think I've got OCD
It's
because
terrible.
I'm not like that. So I jump from one thing,
I
but
go to
I've
another
got,
thing.
yeah, I've had a lady who's got OCD who helped us wrap. And I'd say she finished at 5 o'clock. And I'd go, it's 5 to 5, I need to finish these.
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
Yeah.
but just get yourself away.
No.
They'll be ready there tomorrow. That
No.
you can do them when you come in tomorrow. No. And she had to finish them.
Yeah.
Whereas I can jump from one thing
Yeah.
to
I'm putting
another.
the washing in.
Yes,
writing
and then
something.
I'm going absolutely. So
Right.
what
I'm
is
like
that?
Right.
Is that not ADHD?
Right.
Is that ADHD?
I think there's I mentioned this before. It's ADHD plus OCD. It's a lovely combination. Bev drives you nuts. But imagine washing your car, right, and not down the inside.
Well, I can't imagine washing
Oh,
my
nah,
car because
what's
I
the point in
never
that?
wash my car.
It's like not washing your hair in the shower.
Yeah.
What? You
Also,
wash your cars and
it's-
you wash the inside?
and
Oh, that's
You've
madness.
got to clean the inside.
The full,
Madness.
you're doing the full thing, inside and out, the full lot.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do the full
I've
thing.
never ever washed a car.
The full
and
vehicle.
I have never ever got
Yeah.
any intention of doing that.
And it's even, when you miss a bit, you can't drive, you can't go anywhere without missing, you can't leave that in your car. What's the matter with you? Do
You know
what
what? My
miss
hubby's
a
got a
bit.
bit of OCD as well. So when I clean down and stuff, and then if I'm really tired, I think I'm just going to leave that bit because I know he'll come in and go, oh, not done
think-
that
yeah,
properly.
I think my
so
wife does
he's
that.
got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. So it's
Great.
and then, but he's a
Not for me.
chimney.
I've got to do the graph. I've got to finish
Yeah,
your
not
work.
for him
Oh,
neither.
Bev, half a job, Bev, eh?
Well, he's a chimney sweep.
Okay.
And so basically, he's like, chimney sweeping all day, and then he comes back and he's like, oh, shit, she has to do that. But he goes, and I know he'll leave the house cleaner
Yeah.
than when he started. You know what I mean? Thanks to good old OCD.
Imagine a chimney sweep who's got OCD. That would be, that would blow your mind, wouldn't it?
It's not bad, but I notice you can't start the thought of a bit of soot. So yeah, he just goes over and about. He's great to chimney sweep.
It's really tough. I remember as a teenager, it's really tough. You know, when I think it's probably when your hormonal changes, and it's the light switches and touching things and cracks on pavements and stuff like that. It's so easy to kind of get into that, but you have to really be conscious.
Are you like that now?
That.
I'm like that with light switches.
No, I'm not like that at all, and I don't do that. But I'm purposely. But
no, I'm not.
I kind of walk past the sticky
back on again,
just to make sure
4
you turned
clicks
it off.
and turn it back 4 clicks again.
I know people who check door handles.
I do it in here. I don't know
I
how
think you need a bit of therapy, lads.
Honestly,
Never mind.
But the thing is, I wouldn't be like that because I know for a fact I've turned it off.
With your yes.
ADHD with your OCD, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that combined is boop, you're on point.
I left here last week.
But it's hard to live with, man, Bev.
Dan, I left here last week. I locked the door. I walked the St. Peter's station.
And then
paid for my ticket and went. So I locked the door. Yeah. So I walked back.
Oh, God.
And my brain went, of course you did. You locked the door.
Well,
we all have a bit of that, I must admit.
But well, that's the thing. I mean, even when we were here, I was like, did you switch the heater off? And I'm like, because the heater's on. I'm like, no, I switched it off the corner. So the next day I came in, the heater was on. I'm like, look, this is the reason why I do this.
No, well, with the heater, I stare at it and I look at the switch and my brain goes, is switch down on? It is.
Switch down
right, is
on,
it?
Yeah. No,
but then my brain goes, but is it?
Because
it might be. So switch it on. So switch it on and feel the heat.
Feel the heat.
And then switch it off again.
You've
and if it goes cooler, that's off.
Oh
just,
my
honestly,
God, you have to work with these two.
Just stick a fork in the toaster, man. I'll tell you.
But mate, seriously, is the hob on? I'll just check. Right, okay.
Yes, it is.
My word.
Yeah, I do that.
Word. I'll tell you what. Let's jump off the.
Shall we look at the menu?
We're gonna jump off this, but this has been fantastic, Bev. I'm loving this.
What's this?
So you got to pick 3 from there, and if you could definitely pick the Greg's order, because we ask everybody what your Greg's order is. So.
Okay, 3. So what is the starter, main, afters, and picky?
Anything you want.
Anywhere you want to go. It's anywhere you want to go.
Topics.
We've just kind of separated out. We're just trying to be fancy, make it look like a menu. That's what we're doing, aren't we? But,
right. Right. Well, it's got to be curry versus gravy.
Oh, it's a popular one.
It comes up every time.
Every time, Bev. This is the most popular question, but this is a chip-based question.
Go on then.
It's curry or gravy with your chips.
Curry?
And is it chip shop curry?
Oh, absolutely. No fancy pants.
God, everybody's the same.
Everyone's the same.
It's
but
got to be
never a gravy girl. Are you
curry sauce.
Make way.
Never a gravy girl,
is
no.
It?
Yeah. Is it make way?
I think it's magic.
You know, one of them.
Make way, eh?
One of them is from the northeast. It said the My San.
My
San is a
That's
Morpeth,
right,
isn't it?
and they call it chip shop curry.
It's in Washington.
Is it?
Washington.
Well,
great.
It is. It's
As how they call it, Washington.
Washington?
Washington, no. Called it Washington.
Again, size
Strays and roundabouts.
London, and when I used to go down there, and we've been together a million years, and would go to a trip, and they don't sell curry sauce.
They don't do no moist. That's what was on
that old London town.
Try asking for monkey's blood or ice cream anywhere else.
Monkey's blood,
yeah.
eh?
Monkey's blood.
But it's red sauce now. The kids have it's gone.
It raspberry
sauce. So it's monkey's blood.
Yeah, but I called it.
Yeah.
But we won't
asking for red sauce on ice cream. I don't want
ketchup and that.
The thing is, Tim, now because there's so many options, they've got toffee, chocolate, and all this. When we were kids. Monkey's blood. That was it. There was one option. That was it.
It was
flake.
Gorgeous.
Flake.
Yeah.
That's if your mum would put the quid in.
But when you really, really think about it, it's not that attractive, is it? Monkey's blood on
ice
cream.
That's fun. That's fun, isn't it?
But yeah, definitely curry.
Right, put that on the t-shirt idea. List, right?
Monkey's blood. Just dripping down the t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, and then.
So you're never a gravy person?
If they put an order of gravy in by mistake, I would happily eat it.
We're not arguing.
And I would maybe mix it in even with my curry. Oh my God.
Soulmates.
Yes.
I caused controversy on here because I said the same thing.
Yes. It wouldn't.
Bold flavours?
Yeah. It wouldn't be lost.
See the shock on his face.
You're crossing the streams, Bev. Crossing the streams.
I told you. Honestly.
Yeah.
I used to put brown sauce and red sauce on the plate next to each other. And sometimes mix it together like a pallet.
You've got to have red sauce and brown sauce. You've got to have red sauce and brown sauce.
Look, I'm
Oh,
I'm getting up.
You're trouble
Yeah.
now, are you?
he's getting a little sheen
up.
of sweat, isn't he?
Bev, I'm getting palpitations. I'm actually warming up. I've actually warmed up about 2 degrees.
You did.
Body temperature.
You did. Your forehead's got a
Did you
bit red
feel
now
that?
with stress.
Did you feel energy
Yeah, I can
shift in
take
the room?
that
Yeah.
completely.
Is that so wrong? Because you've got to have one.
I-
I'm not a things not touching each other, but you got to pick one. You
No.
can't
No.
have two things.
both.
Plus also it's like gravy and ketchup. I mean, I'm a
Oh no, I like that as well.
chips,
I like that
yes,
as well.
but on a Sunday dinner, no.
Oh
way
no,
on
I wouldn't
earth.
have it on
Yeah.
a Sunday
Well,
dinner.
that's the
That's
thing,
a
it's a-
step too far.
What?
There,
You wouldn't have ketchup on a Sunday dinner. Oh,
Ketchup
you
on a Sunday dinner.
heathen.
Oh,
Oh, this came up,
Yeah.
Nah.
right? So, yeah.
No,
I'm not going to call her out again. It's too
it's
cruel.
too
Oh,
wrong.
no.
Poor mum.
poor mum.
My mum's gets.
He's called Norma out.
Si King
Si
was
was
raging about me
disgusted.
mum
Aye.
having brown sauce on a Sunday dinner.
Yeah, that's not good.
Which she just, I mean, but I like it. I like it in the
Well,
bottom of the
that's what
oatmeal
you
pudding.
brought up with, isn't it? It's like how your mum made gravy. So my mum made gravy with, gravy salt? You know those blocks
Aye, gravy
of
salt.
gravy
Yeah,
salt,
yeah.
right? And I bought
Compton's.
Compton's.
Yeah.
And I
Still get
bought
it.
one for me friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, well, I chucked it out after about a week because it went hard. I was going, no, it's supposed to be hard, man. But loads of people like Bisto, no.
doesn't do it.
But
It's not the same.
Empty flavour.
if your mum made Bisto gravy, it's that nostalgia thing, isn't it?
It's
So
exactly that, though.
That's why you like it. It's not because you like it
It's not
because it
'cause it's the
tastes
best,
good.
it's 'cause it takes you somewhere else.
It's
Yeah.
a memory from a time when you
Exactly.
had that thing, and
Yeah.
it's the same as place as well. So, what are you having butter on? Because some people are scraps and butter. I did say scraps yesterday, but I do use butter. So, butter. Are you
Yeah.
having butter on the curry sauce or not? Or is it just around the chips?
Okay, so I would have a few scrapings.
Scrapings.
So we call them
Scrapings?
scrapings. I mean scraps, but
Scraps,
they are
scrapings.
scraps.
Okay,
But
no,
we
no,
call
no,
it
This is a
scrapings.
Sunderland way thing.
I don't know scraps.
Scraps.
Scraps and butter.
Scraps,
Aye,
yeah,
yeah.
you know, I know of scraps,
Aye.
but yes, I would have a few of them, but it's not the be all and end all. It wouldn't be a deal breaker if I didn't have them.
Vinegar.
Oh, lots of salt and vinegar, and it's got to be put on in the fish up. Because then, by the
Bev.
time they wrap it up, and then the time you sit in the car, because I don't believe in Deliveroo, right? And then, so you sit in the car, and you then get home and unwrap it, and then all the vinegar and salt's had time to soak in.
I completely agree with you. Nobody can disagree, right? Because
Yeah.
Bev was a food writer.
Yes.
So she's the single source
My
of truth.
word is vinegar law.
Vinegar
Yeah.
law, yeah.
Vinegar law, yeah.
Vinegar
that's it,
law.
yeah, I like it.
Aye, there should be roast of this, like resting the steak. How long you got? Do you know what I mean? It's very
You're right,
similar,
though.
isn't it?
The salt and vinegar is not
Yeah.
the same when you do it at home.
It's
My
the same now.
one of the lasses who used to rap for me is a lot younger, and I was going, oh, I can't be bothered to cook tonight. And she was going, get with the 21st century, you old lady. Order delivery. I was like, I'm not ordering delivery. I was going, I can't be bothered to go to the fish shop. And she was going, get it ordered in. And I was like, no. And she was like, I know, but by the time you go there and then it stinks to fish and chips and you can't. And I was going, but surely that's an added bonus.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's a
mean?
nice
You
smell.
can't
The fish and
stick-
chips in here, yes.
Gorgeous.
It's like, we had
That's
lots of fish and chips in there yesterday.
Yeah.
It was lifting.
Do I have to do another one?
Yeah, let's do one more and then
One
we'll
more.
finish on Greg's. Yeah.
Okay, you mean one more as in the Greg's order?
One more before.
One more.
Let's finish on Greg's because I'll move
What
to
does
the end.
clean
Then, yeah.
plate mean? As in, do you have to have it clean?
Have you licked your plate clean
Have
before?
Oh my God!
That's the
I mean, you
question.
don't have to tell us the truth,
Yeah.
but you know.
You know
Hang on.
what? I'm a big one of these. Yeah,
Si King's a finger clean.
I'm
Yeah.
a finger plater.
Okay.
Yeah.
all
And
right.
I think you know what?
Finger plater.
A
Finger
finger
plate,
plater.
finger plate.
It's like a
If-
new industry, like
No,
an
it sounds-
apprenticeship.
no, it does say a finger plate.
I've just got an apprenticeship with this new business. I'm a finger plater.
There's a lot of welds
18
going on
months.
that one, isn't there? Yeah, a lot of sparks and welds. You need overalls for that, Bev.
Exactly. You know what my sister bought me? She says, oh, I've got you a special present for Christmas Day, but I have to give you it before you have your dinner. And I was like, God knows what she's bought. And it's this huge bib. And it's kind of like, it's like really nasty polyester nylon in red and white, like Santa. And it kind of covers me from here to here. And because I used to do all these food reviews and Si would go, Bev, you've gone out with dinner medals all over your jumper before we've had
Dinner
any
medals?
dinner. Dinner medals. So I'm definitely a clean plate. I don't. It's definitely the finger.
Yeah.
But I have. If you want to lick the plate clean, then isn't that
So
just
you're not,
magnificent?
so that wouldn't be a problem
Wouldn't
if someone
offend
was licking
me.
their plate clean. And like
Well,
if a
it's a
child was doing it,
compliment,
I
really,
think
isn't
it is.
it?
Yeah, yeah.
Of course it
I
is.
doing a
don't
good
think
job.
I'd get. I wouldn't do it in public because I have some decorum. So you don't.
Sometimes,
obviously.
right? Especially mussels. If I have mussels in a restaurant, I literally.
Oh, you've got to
Look
lift
around.
your bowl.
Oh, but,
but
you're doing a head check, though. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
I do a head check.
But
But you've got to
Totally
lift your bowl because that's like a lovely. That's how people. That's
Yeah.
complimenting the
I think
chef,
so.
isn't
I
it?
think so.
So yeah. So I wouldn't do it in public. If I had a kid, I wouldn't encourage it. Should I say? But I don't have kids, so I don't care.
As a kid,
Do what they want.
as a kid, were you allowed to eat in the street? So if you bought a pasty or something, were you allowed, or would your mum not
So we're
let
trying
you?
to work out where the generation, aren't we?
Aye.
Where that's become acceptable.
Because we
When
accepted it.
younger, it wasn't
We're
really
not
a big
bothered
deal.
about that, but we
What, is
couldn't
it
eat in the
not
street.
allowed anymore?
No,
No, it is.
It
It's
is
so
now.
prevalent, isn't it?
But my parents,
Oh.
you weren't
I
allowed.
can't remember.
You
eating
buy
in the
something and you
street.
eat it
I
at
know.
home. You eat
I mean, a
something
bag
on a
of chips maybe on a Friday night. That's when we were mates.
No, I can't remember.
No, but
eating
not
I remember
in the
doing that.
street.
Yeah,
but
but,
not-
if
yeah.
you're fish and chips by the beach, fine, but not like eating a
Yes.
pasty on the way at the car.
No,
know?
it's like wait till you get home.
Wait till you get home.
Wait till you get
That's
home.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah.
same on a plate in your
Yeah,
kitchen, is it?
But
Do you
it's
know what I mean?
wait till you get home.
Yeah.
I think I'm similar to that now. Actually, I want to sit down and eat properly,
Yeah.
even if it's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. I can't remember when that became so prevalent.
Yeah.
I know when
Yeah.
Greg started the food to go thing,
Aye.
yeah.
became a big deal. And now it's just the norm.
I
isn't
mean,
it?
eating your pasty out of a bag and managing and shuffling the bit
Surreptitious.
around and getting
And
to
it's
the rest,
kind of
yeah.
like I know, but
something-
then you get
something
it all
artistic, yeah.
again down, or then all the
Okay.
flaky bits go into the bag. She says who never eats from the bag or anything. I obviously know quite a lot
From the
about
bag.
it, considering I
I've been to a few
apparently
meetings a
don't
few
do
years ago
it,
when I've been in the car and you've had like a pasty or something.
and it's
You're
all
wearing
over
a
the
black
car
jacket
Oh,
seats.
and you look down and go, you hadn't realised though, you get out the car first
Yeah.
and you're covered
Is that
in flaky pastry.
food dandruff?
It is
Or
food
isn't it?
dandruff, yeah.
dandruff.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Flaky
Yeah.
pastry.
Yeah.
And let's go for your last question. There,
Yeah.
Tom. I'm gonna take that off, so-
Okay.
Hang on. What's your Greg's order?
Cheese savoury.
Cheese savory.
Cheese
Cheese
savoury
savoury.
sandwich.
And
In a
that's a
stotty?
real northeastern thing. Baguette.
Baguette.
A baguette.
Baguette.
I like that bit of hardness to bite into.
Mhm.
Then you've got that lovely cheese savoury. And you know the real making of a cheese savoury. What is that? It's not the cheese.
No, it's not.
I was going to say the mayonnaise, but it
No.
must be the butter, is it?
The carrot.
The
Carrot, yeah.
carrots?
Good
see, when I make it-
cheese
Carrot.
savoury.
Carrots
It's
in a
got a
cheese
bit of
savoury.
carrot
Well, it's
in.
funny that because
Is
I
that
wouldn't
because
do
of the
it.
crunch?
No,
Like
I
a,
don't
you know,
know.
like
it's
a,
not.
coleslaw,
I think
like
it's
a
flavour.
coleslaw.
It's
So when I
just
make a
part
cheese
of-
savoury at home, I don't put carrot in. Helena does, my partner.
I've never
Always
heard of
grates
that.
carrot in.
She's
I
a
thought it was
good
like-
woman,
I
then,
thought it was-
obviously.
I thought it was two different cheeses and mayonnaise,
Nah.
and that was
No,
the
no,
cheese
carrot.
savoury.
Carrot.
I've had onion in it before.
An onion.
Yeah.
So if I make
Shredded
it,
onion. It's like a coleslaw.
cheese,
Is?
carrot, onion,
Uh-huh.
and lashings of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Is that not a cheese
Yeah.
coleslaw?
Yeah. No,
Similar, isn't it? No.
no,
Right.
because
Okay.
it's the balance. It's the balance, and it's
Okay.
and it's
Mhm.
more mashed up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do love that. Equally, you kind of go wrong with a cheese, not a cheese bake, steak
Steak
bake.
bake. Steak
Yeah.
bake's probably the most popular.
Don't do this. I don't do the sweet stuff.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah, I don't either.
Nah.
Are you getting a drink?
never.
Never.
Nah,
Can you eat without having a drink?
no. But I would take it home. You see, we've just talked about that.
But you're
Haven't
taking
we?
it home.
Take it home and get a drink
know, but I
out
thought-
of the tap.
Council pop.
Council
That's it.
pop. But I thought you were talking about your mum though back then. You'd still take it home yourself. You wouldn't eat it like in your car or
You know,
in
I
the
don't
street.
think I would. Dan.
No.
Isn't that odd? I mean, I obviously, if in an emergency,
Like you really.
Emergency cheese
absolutely, in
savoury.
an emergency Greg stop, then
Yeah.
absolutely. But out of preference, I would like to take it home and then
Okay.
have some council pop with it. Yeah.
Council
You get
pop.
all the linen out and that and put the
No,
tablecloth down.
I get me Santa Claus big bib.
So you got no dinner medals from your cheese savoury.
I
No?
still get dinner medals, but yeah.
Do you have like little catches?
man.
like one of
Oh, no,
Yeah,
you
like
can't get
one of them. You
Can you
can,
see
yeah.
them? You can get them.
Yeah,
Food catcher.
absolutely.
Food catcher.
Bev,
Bev, this has
Been
been great.
amazing.
Oh, I love
Oh,
this.
it's been
Really
my
enjoyed it.
pleasure.
It's fantastic,
Really
it is.
has. It's been lovely.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
another
It's been
2.5
lovely
hours or
talking
something,
about
probably.
Carawaks and
I know, Caramacs.
yeah.
But topic, it's nice that you mentioned topic. You know why? It's always the one that was left last in the Christmas mix box. Do you know what I mean? The selection box.
Not in our house.
No,
Not
not now. It's always
not-
Milky Way.
Not in my box. I would say the best will last.
Ah. Well,
Oh,
it's
really?
been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Brilliant.
Thanks
Thanks a
for
lot,
coming.
Bev.
Thanks,
Lovely.
Bev.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Great. I love that. Hey.
We're yet to do one for an hour.
Oh,
Sorry.
fantastic.
No.